Field down the near side, man open, touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep. He's got it over the touchdown again. Beautiful day to be a Dolphins fan. Let's go! What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Happy New Year to each and every one of you out there, all Dolphins, even the haters and the casuals in the community. I hope even y'all have a happy New Year. Listen, here we are. You know, I said I would have, I'd probably do a post-game show, and it might be later. Well, kids are tucked away. Wife's tucked away because she's got an early flight with her sister tomorrow. They're doing their annual Little Sisters Disney trip. So I'm sitting here, you know, I was on the phone with EMdolphinfan, you know, I'm talking to the boys, and I said, you know what, I'm going to fire up a stream because I got things I want to say too. You know, I'll do the recap show as usual tomorrow. That's all good. We'll rock that. But listen, let me address someone in the chat right now. I don't care. I'll start off the new year firing the clip. I don't give a crap. Stop at the blind optimism. You haven't been around this team for 40 years of pain, bro. I was a Dolphin fan. One of the first pictures of me as a baby, fresh out of Mama Reason's womb, was my dad holding me in a Dan Marino jersey. Okay, I will be 39 in February. So yeah, I have been around for 40 years of pain. I mean, don't let the baby face gangster look fool you. All right, I've been around for 39 years. Okay, I cried on my dad's lap when I watched Thurman Thomas and the Buffalo Bills knock us out of the playoffs. I cried. You know. Damn near. Well, I didn't cry. I threw things when Stoyanovich missed a field goal against the Chargers. Okay, I cried. All right. 15 years old. I cried watching my idol, my two idols growing up, Mario Lemieux and Dan Marino, and I cried watching Dan Marino go out the way he did against the Jags. And I tell the story all the time. It was the first ever game my stepdad, who now has Alzheimer's, watch with me. Brother, I've been through the pain. Don't tell me I ain't been through the pain. I don't know what you're talking about. I was born into this pain. These people only live in it during Fiedler and the Ricky and this quarterback cycle era. They didn't watch the pain with Dan. They didn't watch us have when all these. What's funny is, and I've always pointed this out, what people always love about Herbert, you know, the Tua haters who always love about Herbert. We had that with Dan, and we didn't win. Now, Dan was better. But Herbert is not in Dan. Everyone, the rookie year tried to fool everyone, and I told he's not. By the way, you see my boy Jordan Love? For all of you who've been watching this channel since I started, hell, all of you have been watching me since October 2019 when I started. I said I wanted Tua Tagovailoa, Joe Burrow, or I wanted Jordan Love. But what did I say? We didn't have the patience to develop Jordan Love. I said that, remember, I knew Burrow would be off the board. And what did I say? Give me Tua or trade back and get Jordan Love. And look at Jordan Love tonight. Talk about progression. That kid is just balling right now. Shout out to Jordan Love. But man, don't tell me I ain't been around for the pain, man. You don't know my struggle. Brother, I do 7 shows a week minimum during the season. My life revolves around the Miami Dolphins and as a content creator. And I've been living this since I came out of the womb. I talked about this a couple nights ago. I remember watching Ricky and saying to myself, if only we had Dan Marino. We missed that by a 2 or 3 year gap. And if we had the technology, hell, if he never tore his Achilles, let alone if we had the technology today, maybe we would have saw Dan be able to play into his 40s and we could have won some chips here. All right. Listen, and I'm not here to give no blind optimism. Tonight was a drubbing. And it's worse. It gets worse. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all flat out. I was going to do a 3 takes video. I was going to talk about it. The word I'm getting on Xavien Howard is not good, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for the Eli Apple or Ethan Bonner show. All right? The word I am getting on Xavien Howard is this is potentially season ending. Now they're waiting, obviously, to get back to Miami and testing. But the thought process is not very good right now. Now, I know everyone's talking about Bradley Chubb because if you haven't heard, the word on Bradley Chubb is it's feared to be a torn ACL like we all thought. And I keep telling you, everyone keeps asking, Cam Smith. The staff does not trust Cam Smith right now. Why is Ethan Bonner getting chances over Cam Smith? Because Ethan Bonner is the type of does his work, good work ethic, stays home, right? Doesn't overstep his boundary, stays home, keeps on his assignment, does his job. Listen, I keep telling people, they kind of threw Xavien Howard under the bus a couple weeks ago without throwing him under the bus on Hard Knocks. I mean, they highlighted him. They tried to sprinkle the, well, you're compensating for the coach thing on top, but they were kind of crapping on X for biting. Fangio, do your responsibility. When you have an old school guy like this, trust the scheme. Don't go outside of what I tell you. Do what I say. You will reap the benefits if you listen to me. That's how he views this. And Cam Smith just isn't there yet with the trust. That's what the deal is right now. Hey, listen. All I'm going to say is the Bengals went to the Super Bowl with Eli Apple at corner. It ain't so bad. Now, what's this going to do? What's this going to do? I'm going to give you 1 minute in the chat. What's this going to force Fangio to do, which might actually benefit us? Drop it in the chat right now. What might this force Fangio to do that might actually benefit us if X is out for the rest of the year? Drop it in the chat right now. What do you think that is? Because I'm going to tell you what it is, but I want to see if anyone in the chat is on the same brand. Like, no, not start the rookie. No. Thank you very much. Now y'all know what it is, baby. Ramsey shadow, travel, Ramsey shadow, baby. That's what it is. Now we're going to get what we want. The man that erased Garrett Wilson, the man that erased Terry McLaurin, the guy that erased CeeDee when CeeDee went up on him one-on-one. Now you are going to get Ramsey traveling and shadowing. We going to put Stephon Diggs, like Barry says, you going on that island, baby. You going to Ramsey Island, all right? And you ain't coming back. Problem is, where do we get? I don't know if they're going to flex Cater out of that slot. And I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't heard anything. This is just me theorizing based off what I've seen. It seems like this new staff aren't massive fans of what they've seen so far from Nick Needham. But, bro, I trust Nick Needham on that boundary more than I trust Eli Apple. I ain't going to lie. I done seen better things out of the last 3 years, whether it be in the slot or whether it be on the boundary when we tasked him with it. I've seen better stuff from Nick Needham than I've seen from Eli Apple. Yeah, I think at least Jason Pierre-Paul coming back, bro. I think at least JPP. I think those become real possibilities now. That's when you're going to hear me sit back and say, listen, we haven't let anything play out, and we got Chicken Littles. You want to talk about being through the struggle? I'll go for recent memory. Raise your hand if you remember going 1-15. That's a struggle. And then watching, that was a struggle, all right? That was a struggle. with the injuries we've had. What are we discussing? I want to name them. The Miami Dolphins have lost Robert Hunt, playing at a Pro Bowl All-Pro level with us. Connor Williams, playing at a Pro Bowl All-Pro level with us. Isaiah Wynn, say what you want. 52 pass pro snaps, only 4 pressures allowed. Say what you want. Reason told you in the offseason Isaiah Wynn was the answer at left guard. What ended up happening until he got hurt? And I pointed out when he got hurt, you started to notice the dip in our run game. Raheem Mostert hasn't had a 100-yard game since Isaiah Wynn's been out. I'm just saying, we're watching something special with Achane. I mean, everyone knows. I heard some YouTuber out here with a pelican jowl was saying no one knew who Achane was. You needed to Google who he was. Blah, 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 blah. Brother, I was out ahead of him over a year before we drafted him. I put a lot of our fan base onto Achane. So, yeah, me and a lot of our fan base knew who Achane was. Thank you very much. All right? But anyways, I digress. Raheem Mostert having a Pro Bowl All-Pro year this year. Can't deny it. Jalen Waddle. I mean, look, you want to have a real conversation about Jalen Waddle? Let's talk about Jalen Waddle. First of all, I said going into today, 2 guys we were going to sorely miss, Jalen Phillips and Jalen Waddle. Why? Go back to the Thursday primetime game. Jalen Waddle was our best pursuit defender in closing and finishing off plays against Lamar Jackson. Fact. Jalen Waddle has made big plays going back to that primetime game. Remember that corner or that out route, that outbreaking route that Tua Laird, right, in front of the safety over top? I mean, that was a big, big play. But I'm going to tell you why we also missed Jalen Waddle today. Jalen Waddle makes plays in the red zone when things break down for us. You know what I mean? Like, we were just going to miss that. All right, what happened? Claypool, big drop. Tyreek, big drop, as usual in big games. No one wants to talk about that. Everyone wants to blame Tua, but no one wants to blame, and I'm the first one. I'll be the first in line to tell you Tyreek is arguably the best player in the NFL. But, brother, I've seen some questionable hands in some big moments. Waddle ain't the only one who got dropsies. The worst part about Tyreek's dropsies is they're sure touchdowns most of the time. And they're in big moments. They're in big games, crucial moments. Buffalo, last year, December, him or Sherfield, same drive. They catch either one of those touchdown passes, we win that game, let alone if Boyer gets it done on 3rd and 16. And Fangio, thank you for giving me Boyer vibes today. Oh, my God, flashback. Anyways, all right, continuing on with Tyreek Hill. Philly, walk-in touchdown, dropped. KC, drop at a 30-yard line. We don't get 3 or 7 points. Fumble at the 31. We don't get 3 or 7 and put 7 up on the board for them. Guy was a 13 to 23 point swing alone in the other team's favor. We should have blown them out. Should have blown out KC. Dallas. Tua starts it off with a dime. This guy's gone. Drop. Thank God Tua comes back and kills the weak arm narrative on the next throw. Jalen Waddle, dime. Then we got receivers out here today. It don't matter whether you're on a rookie contract, Julian Hill, or you're one of the top paid guys, Tyreek Hill. We got guys who can't catch easy stuff that with points on the line. Well, you got fullbacks in Baltimore making one-handed catches. They scored 3 touchdowns off like one-handed catches. But I will say this, and I'm absolving Tua nothing today. Devin Achane is the only guy who got out that bus for 60 minutes. Sealer got off the bus a little bit there. Sealer showed up, strip, sack. Sealer showed up today. Christian Wilkins, you want $24 million? Where are you today, kid? Where are you today, kid? Where are you? Mike McDaniel leaving players in with 3 minutes left. I don't know if that's a Fangio call or a McDaniel call. Or Bradley Chubb's on the sideline saying, keep me in, coach. But if that's the deal, someone needs to step in. If Fangio's doing it because his pride's on the line, because him and Harbaugh have their little titty-tat rivalry, I'm not a fan. If McDaniel is the one making the call and keeping them out here, I'm not a fan. If Bradley Chubb is out here saying, I need to be out there, coach, one of those guys needs to step in and say, we're down by 30, kid. Get the hell out. You don't need to be in there against Tyler Huntley. What do you got to prove? And then Harbaugh, listen, I thought it was classless. People want to use, well, you scored 70 on the Denver Broncos. Yada, 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 yada. And I ain't talking Seinfeld. Let's spit the facts about that game. All right? It's not the same. Did Denver lose a key player with under 3 minutes left? Then we ran the score up right after? No. We didn't throw the ball on our final 2 drives with just under 9 minutes left. It's just Achane and Chris Brooks broke off big plays. We weren't sitting back in the pocket and trying to shred. But listen, we've lost Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, Isaiah Wynn, Raheem Moser, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Jerome Baker, Xavien Howard. Jalen Waddle is playing at a Pro Bowl level. Starting to, at least. Didn't start off, but he was coming on the last couple weeks. Looking like old Jalen. Jalen Phillips was playing at a Pro Bowl level before he got hurt. Bradley Chubb, Pro Bowl, All-Pro level before he got hurt. Jerome Baker was looking good with another year with the Dolphins in his first year under Fangio. He's actually looking decent. He's gotten better every year. Xavien Howard, looks slow, but tasked as a number 2, right? How many number 2s would you pick over Xavien Howard in the NFL right now? Not to mention Ramsey and Armstead missed time this year as well. That's a lot of Pro Bowl, All-Pro caliber players you got to make up time for. Duke Riley, not even making up for an All-Pro player. Jerome Baker, exposed. Listen, I was the first one to say, hey, man, I was wrong. I was worried about him getting those snaps. I was the first one when he's playing well to say, hey, I was wrong. But I'll now be the first one to say, oh, boy, he looked like the guy I was worried about today. Because I don't know if you can ride that into the playoffs. And I'm just keeping it a $1.50 here. It's, listen, thank God Emmanuel Ogbah was inactive today, so we got someone to pair with AVG. Holy jeez. Yes, it ain't. But now, look at that. Before the game started today, we showed the tweet where this man, wow, LOL, tweeted out. He was not happy. He was not happy that he was inactive. And now we're saying, oh, guess what? Now we got to lean on you, bro. Sorry about that inactive. Oh, that's going over well. Listen, I'm betting Ogbah's going to be a professional. And here's the thing, man. I just can't buy into this notion. It goes back to the original question, right? I can't, I can't buy into this notion, like you said, what if we don't get a playoff win? That's when I'll buy into this notion that we were frauds this year. If we can't get a playoff win, but even still, the fact that we're 11-5 with the injuries I've listed, if you're a Dolphin fan, not a national person or not a Raven fan watching because you just won, if you're someone who has watched this team game in and game out, when I name Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, Isaiah Wynn, Raheem Moser, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Jerome Baker, Xavien Howard, with Ramsey and Armstead also missing games. Guys, that's 11 players. It's called all 22 because there's 22 players. 11 starters on offense, 11 starters on defense. Think about this. There were people replying, well, Baltimore was down too. Baltimore was down Kyle Hamilton, Zach Seidler. Sorry, not that Seidler guy. What's his face? The guard, Seidler. They were down Seidler, and they were down Brandon Stevens. We lost Xavien Howard almost right away. We lost Bradley Chubb at the end of the game. We were already down Jalen Phillips and Jerome Baker. And we were down Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert, Isaiah Wynn, Connor Williams, and Robert Hunt. Like, think about this for a second right now, guys. Out of our 22 starters, 9 of them are out. We are down to 13 starters. There are 13 starters that remain. Like 13. 13. We are down 9 starters. 9. And again, what's better? Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, Isaiah Wynn was playing at. You can say what you want. Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle was starting to. Didn't all season, but was starting to. Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. I mean, we're talking about guys who, right? Jalen Waddle, former Pro Bowl level, all-pro level. Isaiah Wynn, having a career resurgence under us. Connor Williams, best center in football. Robert Hunt, all-pro guard. Raheem Mostert, best season of his career, over 20 touchdowns. How do you replace that? Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips establishing themselves halfway through the season as arguably the best pass rushing duo in the NFL. Both gone, torn ACLs. Jerome Baker, good enough. Better than what Duke Riley offers. Not to mention, missed the first half without Ramsey. All-pro. Armstead, top 3 tackle when healthy. How many games have we been without him? I mean, Jesus, Lord almighty. But now we're getting into guys that are done for the year. Holland looked slow today because he didn't even look healthy. His MCLs didn't even look healthy. Look at Liam Eichenberg. We can all feel what we feel about Liam Eichenberg. That's fine. But this guy's playing on an injured calf. He could blow as a kid. Look at what happened to him today. We all thought, oh my God, did it just roll up? Right? We all thought it because we know it. But then you got bad situational coaching mixed into that. You've got bad penalties on top of these injuries. You've got poor execution at times from the quarterback, at times from the wide receivers, at times from the offensive line, really, because they always take terrible penalties at the worst time. Like, let's be honest. Our defense, as much as we've relied on them lately, they got shredded today from, I mean, other than that drive where we had them 3rd and 25, and then even still, Lamar has an 18-yard run and makes it 4th and 7. And it's crazy because it's what comes down to what I talked about. You know, I said I didn't like our interior depth. I didn't like our depth at linebacker. Remember, I said this. I said, you got to trade for something on both ends. You need depth at linebacker. I literally said, do you want to be depending on Duke Riley? And then I said, do you want to be like, look at, if we had a center right now, you could kick Eichenberg to guard. Right? Cotton's been downright terrible. And at least you could have Robert Jones at left guard, center you traded for at center, and Liam Eichenberg our right guard. And now Jackson's playing injured too. I didn't even mention Austin Jackson's playing injured. And I get it, injuries, but guys, these are significant. We're talking like 9 of our 22 starters are out. 9. That's almost half your team. And again, the fact we're 11-5 with these type of injuries, and even with McDaniel's faulty coaching in terms of situationally, hell, even getting the play in on time, that's still been an issue. Poor clock management that's led to. Listen, if Xavien Howard is potentially done for the season, again, maybe that forces Fangio to use Ramsey to shadow. I don't know. It is what it is. That was a painful one. That was a real kick in the gonads. But again, all these people calling frauds. First of all, where were all these people that were calling the Dolphins frauds last week when we beat the Dallas Cowboys on basically a decisive game-winning drive that looked like we could have punched in for a touchdown if we wanted to? People just moved the goalpost to this week. That's all. Which it is what it is. But I come back to the Bills. I mean, Bailey Zappi threw 3 interceptions today, and that game was close. We beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills last year in Hard Rock. I'll do you one better. Can you name a time this season where the Dolphins have lost back-to-back games? See, I'm not even the loss we should all be pointing to is the Titans loss. That's the loss. The Titans loss is the loss. Think about this. If you finish off that Titans game, ladies and gentlemen, with last week's win against Dallas, Christmas Eve, AFC East, and the number 2 seed locked up. Guys, there were people who thought we wouldn't get a win after that Jets loss. After that Titans loss. They thought we were about to lose to the Jets. Then when we beat the Jets, you're going to lose to the Dallas Cowboys. Then we beat the Dallas Cowboys. Now it's okay, you're going to lose to the Baltimore Ravens. Don't you see the goalposts just keep moving no matter what we do? Has anyone not caught on to this yet? There's people that live and feed off this. They call themselves fans. You see them on every platform. Doesn't matter whether you're on Facebook all the time, hell, Instagram all the time. It don't matter. You see it everywhere. They live off this stuff. I don't get why, but okay. But everyone thought we were dead to rights after we lost the Titans game. People that you're not going to beat the Jets. Beat the Jets. You're not going to beat the Cowboys. We'll beat the Cowboys. Well, you're not going to beat the Ravens. Okay, yeah, we got shellacked by the Ravens, who are probably the best team in football right now. And that's still no excuse for what just happened. But they just whooped the ass of the San Francisco 49ers, who a lot of people are still picking to go to the Super Bowl. And then they handed our ass to us. Back-to-back weeks. It wasn't just us. They shellacked. I mean, you can say, who was worse? Can I ask you this? Who was worse, Tua or Brock Purdy against the Ravens? Answer me that. Was Brock Purdy dropping dimes to Tyreek and Chase Claypool? Just saying. See, and this is interesting here because you're right. We will see how Lamar performs in the playoffs. Listen, I said you had to force Lamar to beat you from the pocket for 60 minutes. He did today. The problem is, listen, he made a couple nice throws. All right. He made a couple nice throws. There's no doubt about that. But we're talking Eli Apple busted coverage. We're talking, guys, Duke Riley getting exposed out of the backfield at the second level. You got to understand that game plan was good. They exposed our weaknesses for sure. And that's coaching. That was good coaching by Harbaugh today. And they were pissed from last year. They let one slip away last year against us. And they let us know we ain't forgot. And that's why they ran the score up there at the end. I also think that was a little bit of the Harbaugh and Fangio tiff there. But on the same flex, let's see how Tua performs in the playoffs. We haven't seen it yet. Well, yeah, Purdy threw 4 interceptions, got yanked. Tua actually should have thrown, right, 4 touchdowns, if we're being honest here. If you add in the Tyreek and you add in the Claypool touchdowns. But it is what it is. The Tua picks, how do I like the Tua picks? The first one, the first one pisses me off. I don't know whether it's on Tua and McDaniel. I don't know who's telling him to rush his order of operations. Okay, you needed to score points, but you needed to not leave any time on the clock. Why are we rushing to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning? Why are we rushing to get a playoff when all you need to do is basically flip back, go have a conversation, get your best play ready, and go hit them with it? The goal isn't to score as quickly as possible and give them more time to get points and double dip like Costanza with a chip, right? If you would have scored quick, what good would that have been if you would have given them a minute and a half to at least go get 3 on the other side and then come back and get 7? And yeah, you scored 7, but they just scored 10. Bro, I don't know what the rush is. And then Tua, you lock in on them. And Roquan just read the eyes. Pick. Now, second one was tipped, right? That's bad coaching. Again, yes, that's bad coaching. Because if you're going to ask me, I think that's McDaniel rushing them to the line. If you're going to ask me reason, what do you think? That's not Tua. That's in the headset. Yo, get to the line. I want to get this playoff. I want to catch them. That's what that is. And then, still even on that play, Tua, you had Smythe up that right seam, kid. I mean, you had Smythe up that seam, kid. I don't know what to tell you. It was right there. And you had already been getting chunk yards. I keep telling y'all, we need to emphasize the seam more in this offense. And we see it work the last couple of weeks. So Smythe, make it an emphasis. Tua, if you don't like what you're seeing, go to the seam, baby. I know it's Smythe, but Smythe's a solid number 2 right now. Until we get a guy that offers us the blocking Smythe does, but more after the catch, you work with what you got, and Smythe's delivering. 16, 18, 11-yard chunks. Take them. And then you hear Tua after the game. Well, I should have taken what the defense gave me. Yes, you should have. See, here's the thing with Tua. Tua's issue, it's not choking, ladies and gentlemen. And it's fixable. And I think losses like this are going to slap him in the face and fix this. This is what the issue with Tua is. We've seen it. Go back to the Bengals game last year when he got hurt. Go back. There's multiple points. Tua, there's times where Tua executes. So don't get me wrong, he has like 8 or 9 game-winning drives. So don't get me wrong, he executes. But there are times where Tua feels the need to, I could use McDaniel's overcompensation vocabulary here, but I won't. He forces the play. Tua forces the play. You've heard me and Martin talk about this actually for years. If you watch every Tua Tuesday that we've been doing, for 4 years now. Started with me and Ball Game, then me, Martin, and Ball Game, and now it's me, Martin. If you watch it, Tua forces the play. He forces the action. What do I always say? He gets caught not letting the game come to him. And that's why you hear him talking about, I should have taken. Perfect example. You remember when we played the Patriots at the beginning of the year, and they were the first team to show us that 3-high shell? Did you see how he started taking what they were giving him underneath, and he shredded them for over 200 yards? Just taking what they give him, taking what they give him. That's what you got to do, Tua. Even when you're down by 2 scores. And that don't come down to arm. That don't come down to nothing. You got to take what the defense gives you to force them up, so then you can challenge them over the top if they're already playing that. I mean, you saw them bracketing guys. Hell, they were bracketing Claypool. When defenses have you like that, you need to take what they give you. It's okay to do that. Not every game there's going to be the big shots. It's just not going to happen. Ernest makes a very good point. A very disciplined defense. Yes, and how do you beat disciplined defenses? You take what they give you until they start, right? You start catching guys, right? False steps, right? You start throwing false keys towards them, and you maybe catch them biting on that, and you hit them over the top. You let that come to you. You don't force the big plays. You don't force the explosives. You let them come to you. To beat a disciplined defense, you got to play as disciplined as you possibly can. And what was one of the things? You got to protect the football. I said that. We saw what the Ravens did to the San Francisco 49ers when San Francisco did not protect the football. Right? And you can tell he doesn't trust. I know you see you guys talking about that. You can tell he doesn't trust the protection. You can tell he doesn't trust the protection. I mean, I don't even think it's so much as the quick. No, listen, I do agree that being so quick triggered can speed up your internal clock. I do agree with that, and it can turn it into a habit. But at the same time, at the very, very same time, I just don't think he trusts the protection. And I just don't. Do you blame him? I just don't think he thinks it's going to hold. He's seen this song and pony dance show before. And look we are at our best still when he gets it out. Even when all the guys were healthy, even when our O-line was at the healthiest, we were trying to get it out in like 2.2 seconds, 2.3 seconds. I mean, it is what it is. It's a tough loss, man. I'm not going to sit up here and blow, sunshine, lollipops and rainbows up your ass right now. I'm just not going to. That's a tough loss. But I'm going to tell you right now, the loss we're all going to look back to is the Tennessee loss. We ain't going to look back to this loss. Because if you think about it, we handled our business against Dallas. We handled business against the Jets. You win that game, we have everything by the shorts and curls. We don't even need to play next week. We just would have played this week for the first seed. It is what it is. What are you going to do about it? Everyone wants to sit up here and cry like this season is done. Again, for all you recent fans, we've been through the 1-15 season. I mean, you want to talk about being at the lowest of lows. We're 11-5 right now. Guys, if the NFL didn't add an extra game to the schedule, it's over. We're the number 2 seed. But we got to go beat a team we beat last year at the Rock. Yes, we're down, but we're pissed off. They've won 4 in a row. I don't even want to sit here and tell you we got them where we want them, because I said that last week and look how that turned out. And we're in the playoffs at the end of the day. Now, what people aren't going to want to see is the Bills back to back, and that's actually kind of a possibility here. Here's the deal, guys. Let me just show you guys this. I don't know if everyone's had a chance to see this, but we've officially been flexed. All right. If you look at here, the Dolphins regular season finale will get a marquee stage with much riding on the outcome. The Dolphins and Bills will play the final game of the 2023-2024 season at 8:20 p.m. on Sunday night at NBC at Hard Rock Stadium. Dolphins' path is now clear. Win on Sunday, and they will be the AFC East champions in the number 2 seed and would host 2 playoff games, presuming they can win the first. Lose on Sunday, and the Dolphins will be the number 6 seed and need to win 3 road games to make the Super Bowl. Who would the Dolphins play in the first round in either case? Here are your scenarios. If the Dolphins win on Sunday, they would be the 2nd seed and play host to Pittsburgh in the first round of the playoffs. If the Steelers win at Baltimore on Saturday, in that scenario, the Steelers would clinch the 7th seed, and the 2nd and 7th seeds meet in the first round. That's perfect for us. But, I mean, the Ravens, they don't have anything to play for. The Ravens have already clinched the AFC's top seed. It's unclear if they'll play quarterback Lamar Jackson. I mean, I think he's pretty much locked up the MVP. I don't see a point, but okay. If the Dolphins win on Sunday, they would be the 2nd seed and play host to Buffalo in the first round. If the Steelers lose at Baltimore and Jacksonville wins at Tennessee, presuming that Indianapolis and Houston do not tie their matchup. In this scenario, the Bills would be assured of the 7th seed, and Dolphins would end up hosting the Bills on consecutive weekends. Needing to beat Buffalo 2 weeks in a row would be quite a challenge, considering the Bills have won 4 in a row and are 2-point favorites to win in Miami on Sunday night. If all AFC South teams win next weekend, the Colts and Texans winner would jump the Bills for the 6th seed if Buffalo loses because of superior conference record. If the Dolphins win on Sunday, they would be the 2nd seed and play host to Jacksonville in the first round of the playoffs. If the Titans beat the Jags and the Ravens beat the Steelers, in this scenario, it would not matter if the Colts beat the Texans or the Texans beat the Colts in Indianapolis. Regardless, the winner of that game would win the AFC South, and the Jags would be 7th seed if they lose, and the Steelers lose. Buffalo would be the 6th seed in that scenario. If the Dolphins lose on Sunday, they'd be 6th seed and open the playoffs at Kansas City. The Bills and Dolphins would finish the season with the same record if Buffalo beats Miami, but the Bills would win the tiebreaker and win the AFC East by virtue of having swept the season series in this scenario. Even if the Chiefs lose at the Chargers, Kansas City would own the tiebreaker over the Jags, the Colts, or the Texans. If the Jags or Texans win the division, the Chiefs would win the tiebreaker based on better conference record. If the Colts win the division, the Chiefs would win the tiebreaker based against common opponents. That's why Kansas City would be the 3rd seed and play host to the Dolphins to open the playoffs. So if this is Miami fate, the Dolphins, barring upsets, would need to win in Kansas City, then win in Baltimore, and then win in Buffalo to advance to the Super Bowl. Even if Cleveland loses to Cincinnati on Sunday, the 5th seeded Browns would win a tiebreaker over the Dolphins because of a superior conference record. That's why Miami is assured finishing as a 6th seed if the Dolphins lose to Buffalo. Oh, boy. What's going on, Martin? How you doing, brother?
Grace and peace, man.
How you
Happy
doing?
New Year's, everybody. We made it. We made it. You know what I mean? Barely, but we made it, man. It's a good day, but it's a bad day at the same time. Good day is it's the New Year. Bad day, we got A-Town stopped, man. That wasn't even competitive the last quarter of that game, man. But at the very least, what I can take away from this is it is one game. It's a tough loss because of the style in which we were defeated. But at the same time, there's encouragement because like you've been explaining, the Ravens have been, railing all teams that they've been playing, and for the first 2 quarters, all the way up until that last play at the 2-minute warning in the second quarter, it was clear. It was clear as day. We were neck and neck. It was back and forth, and it's literally as soon as that pick happened, the air just went out of us on the sideline and everything, and we were still playing, but you can tell, like, damn, we just blew, the opportunity to officially stamp that we're in this game. And you saw Mike McDaniel, his immediate reaction when the pick was thrown was F. Like F. Like I knew I should have waited for the 2-minute warning. And second guessing is going to happen. You can second guess about that 2-minute hurry up. Rushing before the 2 minute. You can second guess leaving the defense on the field with less than 3 minutes left, down by 30 points. We can second guess a lot of things, but at the very least, what you should never second guess is the effort. And that's one thing where I was looking at, like, damn, we kind of not gave up, but we kind of showed that the effort wasn't there. Like you said, the only guys that kind of showed up this game offensively was HN, and defensively was Seiler and Sealer, and everyone else was kind of a mixed bag of, okay, I'm at my best, and then I'm not at my best. I'm at my best, and I'm not at my best. Tyreek Hill included, Tua included, Jalen Ramsey included as well, which was a little disappointing.
Did you notice
well.
him giving the work to Holland? He was yelling at Holland quite a bit, eh?
Based off communication, yes.
Yeah.
But he, even with the last touchdown by Lamar to Ricard, right, the fullback. When you look at the defense, it looked like everybody was in zone coverage, and he chased the drag route from his side across the field, which was what sprung that opposite route that the fullback ran towards his zone. It was like, yeah, bro, we're just not we're not 100% locked in, focused, and it was tough to watch to see the effort of just staying focused. That focus is effort, and effort can become a focus driven thing when it comes to play by play. Play after play, and just staying locked in. So, we unraveled at the worst time possible, and the Ravens took clear advantage of it. They didn't want any type of comeback like what happened last year, and they made sure of it. So, hats off to the Ravens, man. Dominant win, and they deserved it. They earned it. There ain't no way around it. So
Lamar Jackson has a 1-3 record in the playoffs in his career. If number 2 seed, it's possible Ravens will lose in the playoffs and we get home field throughout.
Wishful thinking.
Hey, you win this weekend, all bets are off.
Right. And again, I liked what I saw with the New England game against the Bills today. New England always gives the Bills, a run for their money, man.
Yeah.
But what we also do know is Josh Allen is notorious for activating
against
Super
us.
Saiyan 2 against Miami Dolphins. So we have to be very, very
I just don't like. Do you
that.
see this team getting blown out 2 games in a row? No, I don't see that.
No,
we haven't even lost 2 games in a row this year. All right, I got people in the chat. What do you think about people calling us frauds? Tua, I want y'all to go look at right now. Tua is 49 yards away from 4,500. He's going to throw for over 4,700 yards. All right. You look at the injuries we have. All right. The fact we're 11-5 at this point with that list of injuries. If I name, let me just name this. If Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, Isaiah Wynn, Raheem Moser, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Jerome Baker, Xavien Howard. Okay, that's 9 guys. All right, we're not including Ramsey and Armstead who missed time earlier. But out of those 9 guys, if you give me Connor Williams, Jalen Waddle, and then Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, are any of us worried? I'm just saying. Answer me that. Are you worried?
Yeah.
What's good, EM?
Man, what's good? What's good, fellas? Salute.
What's good, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing much better.
My bad. I cut off.
I've had time to.
Yeah, you can hear you. Yeah, you're good.
Is my audio fine?
You're both good. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, EM. Let me push this to you.
What's up, man?
Robert Hunt, Connor Williams, Isaiah Wynn, Raheem Moser, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Jerome Baker, Xavien Howard. If I gave you Connor Williams, right? Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, and Bradley Chubb were not on that list, would you be as worried as you are right now?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, it's when I mean, we're all aware of of what has happened this year in terms of injuries. I mean, man, this has been like the worst year. When you add up all the players, you think about the players that we've lost this year and high quality players, I mean, again, not to make excuses, you know what I mean? Because every team pretty much deals with. I mean, this is the National Football League, The Dolphins team is not immune to, the injury bug, right? But players do matter. Higher end players do matter. Higher quality players do matter, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just when again, and I was aware of all the players that we lost, but when we talked earlier, and I saw that tweet you put out about. I mean, you look at the laundry list of players that we've lost this year, man, and something, to be honest with you.
They could win a game on their own. They could win a playoff game on their own.
Absolutely. But something, it has been terrible. I mean, again, this is the worst year in terms of injuries, I think, that I remember, right? In terms of high quality of players. And so, to be honest with you, yeah, it's terrible or whatnot, and it's tough to deal with, but we're still 11-5, gentlemen. You know what I mean? There's still some positivity surrounding this team, and again, I don't want to put that negative energy out in the universe. In terms of like our Super Bowl aspirations, I would say the loss of Chubb and as well as the other players that we've lost to season-ending injuries, that is significantly, in my opinion, dealt us a significant blow in terms of our Super Bowl aspirations. But we're still 11-5. We still are in position to win the division, right? All we have to do is take care of Buffalo on Sunday. But man, this was a gut punch, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, gentlemen.
My stomach dropped when Martin said that. When he reminded me how this guy goes to activate Super Saiyan against us, and I'm just like, but I just refuse to believe we're gonna get blown out 2 weeks in a row. I refuse to believe you're going to see what happened in Buffalo happened in Miami. I just refuse.
Mm-hmm.
This team's pissed off, bro. And okay, I guarantee you this. Okay,
they better not get blown out 2 weeks in a row. They better not.
Yeah, real tough. Raheem Mosert's going to probably try and go. Maybe Robert Hunt tries to go.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, Reason. Like, I love Raheem Mostert, have nothing but respect for him, but
you want HN.
When HN is the number one guy, this offense he adds another gear to it. And no disrespect to Raheem Mostert. I love him. We all know that. But when HN is healthy and he is RB1, he adds another gear to this offense. And you saw him. Raheem Mostert wasn't missed today. Raheem Mostert wouldn't have made. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Martin. Go ahead, bro.
And not to cut you off like that, but picture this, right? If you have a big game like today, right, and this is arguably the second biggest game that we played this year when it comes to Buffalo Week 4 and Baltimore Ravens this week, right? And both times, Devon Achane was the major piece that showed up for us offensively. If Mike McDaniel, throw the contracts aside, throw experience aside, look at what's actually happening in front of you right now. I would gear most of my offensive scheme and play call through this rookie running back.
Absolutely.
Until a guy like Tyreek Hill demands it. Until a guy like other players that need to step up, like a Jalen Waddle, for instance, when he comes back, demands it. Up until that point, I'm not gonna say, well, because they're a 30-year player or they're $120 million player that we need to. Nah, dog. Like
what do you got to lose?
Games like that.
Throw this whole trust thing out the window. Just go with who's rolling.
Go with the hottest hand and work around that, man, because that's really what kind of threw us back.
I felt like he did that. I felt like he did that in the first half today.
That's true. Yeah, it was.
I felt like he was even the conscious effort to really. It was. I felt like it was, especially early on. I felt like it was a conscious effort to really feature him, and the game plan was working. Right, the game plan was working. It's just, that I felt like, bro, that when Tyreek Hill dropped that touchdown pass, I turned to my wife. I said, Miami's not gonna win this game. I said they're not winning today, bro.
Listen. You know what? Yeah, I know that, bro. I know, bro. What was it? 2013? 2013 or 2014?
21-13.
No. It was 2013 or 2014 NHL playoffs.
Oh, my bad.
And the Penguins were in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Boston Bruins. It might have even been earlier than that. Might have been like 2011 or 2012. I forget the year. I'm just so off right here. I know it went back-to-back in 2016 and 2017, but it was a couple years before that. Anyways, I remember it, bro. In the first 40 seconds of that game, Sidney Crosby got a breakaway, came in, tried to go glove side, clean save, like just a beautiful glove save. And I turned to my girlfriend at the time and I said, "We're not winning this series." Like I literally turned to her, bro. Sometimes you feel it, bro. Sometimes you can literally feel it. You look and be like, "We're not winning this."
And we know the game of football. The game of football is all about momentum, bro. It's all about momentum shifts. And I felt like if when he dropped that ball, it felt like, and again, players were still upbeat, and Tyreek Hill came back to sideline. My bad, fellas. Whatever. But I just felt like it took a lot of wind out of that sail, bro. And I said, I just had this eerie feeling that I didn't think it was going to be. They were going to get absolutely ran off the field.
2013 was the year I was talking about. Yeah,
I didn't think they were going to get ran off the field to the degree that they did, but I said, no, the dog. I felt like, bro, he's the leader of the team, right? He's the player that every other player on the team.
And then
looks
the X injury, It
was a snowball effect. It was a snowball, and then you absolutely ran into an absolute buzzsaw with Lamar Jackson. I mean, it was just. But I do think the biggest difference of the game.
Yeah, but you didn't help yourself against Lamar. Other than that drive where we got him to 3rd and 25 and then he still got the 18-yard run on the next play, how much pressure did we get on him? The guy was having a picnic with Boo Boo the Bear back there, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Who are we lying to?
But you know what?
And then on top of that, you get no pressure. And then on top of that, you blow your assignments in coverage.
But the biggest difference, I think, in the game, again, Lamar was phenomenal. Their defense was lights out for the most part. Even though we moved the ball well, I think, I wouldn't say lights out, but their defense played well enough to keep us out of the end zone, right? But
correct.
What I came away, the biggest surprise to me is that how we could not match their physicality. They ran the ball when they wanted to, right? And our pass rush, right, was non-existent.
Bro,
it was irrelevant.
Siler was the only player that got off the bus today, bro. He was the only one out there playing.
Was out. It didn't even matter that one of their starting guards was out.
I know, absolutely.
Wilkins, I said this earlier. Christian Wilkins, you want $24 million? Where were you today, sir?
He was getting
getting held. He got held a few times, though, straight up.
But he was getting moved. He was getting moved off his spot as well.
There was one rush where he just blew past, but dude just straight up grabbed him by the numbers, and he was just like he couldn't get there. It was blatant, and I don't know.
And no call.
Yeah, no call.
I hadn't seen this defense, this D line, this the front seven get dominated this all year.
In the run game too. In the run game too. In the run game,
right? Gus Edwards was chunky.
One of the hats we were just wearing over the last half of the season was how good of a run defense we became since
that's what I'm saying.
Game.
That was a different, in my opinion, that was a difference in the game. It was tone setting. It wasn't
Lamar running around on us. It was
right
at all.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last week on Dolphins After Dark. I felt like Lamar's ability to consistently extend the play, either to make a play with his legs or his arm. I felt like as long as the Dolphins had a lead, right, they would be fine in that regard. But clearly you saw when Baltimore is up on you and we're playing catch up and Lamar is able, and again, I saw tremendous, and again, not to hype Lamar Jackson, or any other player on another team.
He was the MVP today too.
But you saw, I saw immense growth from Lamar from within the pocket because a lot of those plays.
No, you know what he looked like? He looked like opening day 2019 Lamar in the pocket.
That's exactly what.
Yeah, 100%.
Vic Fangio tried him. Vic Fangio tried him, bro.
Everyone wants to call me a Tua stan. Everyone wants to say I'm a Tua stan. Lamar played like the MVP today, not Tua.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
He looked like the best player in the league today.
What Vic Fangio did today was he basically told Lamar and the Ravens offense, "You're not beating me with your legs today. You're going to beat me with all arm."
Yeah,
and Lamar said, "Checkmate." Lamar said, "Checkmate."
Were you watching that game going, "Oh, reason"? Bro, Rashad Bateman up here making plays on us, bro. Rashad Bateman up here looking like the guy I wanted in the draft, bro. What the effing crap was that, bro? Isaiah Likely. Bro, I remember coming to you this week being like, I don't know if they're going to feature him like that. Right? Bro.
Yeah.
This guy lights us up, bro. We saw it when Mark Andrews got hurt last year. Isaiah Likely actually looked better last year when Andrews got hurt than he's looked this year. And then he looked like the guy he was last year when Andrews went down. And it's like, holy jeez. And here's the thing. I got to show this. Bro, 305-pound fullback catches Patrick Ricard, catches a one-handed catch. Chase Claypool, who we've all been screaming for to get involved, can't catch a perfect dime between bracketed coverage.
That's crazy. Hey, and Reed, I'm glad you brought that up because Tua was supposed to have a 3-touchdown day, like straight up. And this is what I've noticed about Tua.
We're throwing Tyreek.
We're three touch. That's a part of it. That's a part of it.
Well,
but this is no. But he should have had 3. And obviously the Chase Claypool drop was the same drive where he threw that touchdown to Devon Achane eventually. So it was supposed to be essentially a 3-touchdown day. But what I see from Tua is whenever he's cooking and whenever he what Tua does is he builds on top of positive plays, positive throws. Like that's the type of quarterback he is at this moment.
He's a rhythm thrower.
Rhythm guy.
That's why I just want to add to you. That's why I think they throw screens a lot, especially early on. They're getting him in the rhythm, getting him going, getting the guy. It's like an engine. I'm talking to the guys in the chat. I'm talking to the people in the chat who hate the screens. Anyway, sorry. Go on, Martin.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, but I'm just saying flat out. The moment our guys drop passes, right, it could result into touchdowns. I think it hits Tua a little bit harder than it should because, like Mike McDaniel always says, he's trying to coach Tua into just moving on to the next play. But Tua is still one of those guys that need to mature in that element of his game of next play, like Eli Manning, right? Just completely grow numb to the result.
We've seen him shake it. I mean, we've seen him shake it.
True. That's true. That's true. But I'm referring to big games,
Martin. Yeah, and because we've talked about this on the film breakdown, and me and EM even talked about this, so EM can get on this. This is what I think, and this is why I think it's fixable. And me and EM had this conversation like an hour and a half ago. I think this is why I think it's fixable, and I think big games like this will fix it because of the ass whooping.
Mhm.
And he heard him after the game. And I brought up the Patriots game earlier this season. The first time we saw that 3 high shell, what happened? Him and McDaniel took what the defense gave him, shredded them, pulled them up, went over top. And Tua said, and we go back to I brought up the Bengals game last year, right? When, what's his face? The jabroni, Chase Edmonds dropped the touchdown, right? When he dropped the touchdown. And then what happened for the injury? Tua felt, it all comes down to Tua needs to kill this attitude of I need to make a big play right here, right now. Because I have the personnel. No, take what the defense gets you, draw them up, and let the big. What do I say, Martin, when we break down the film? Sometimes Tua gets caught not letting the game come to him. He forces the game instead of letting it organically come to him. But then there's games where we see him, he takes what the defense gives him. He dictates the game because he's like playing off the game flow. He's playing off the game flow. Bro, we could have scored a touchdown on that game-winning drive if we wanted to. That was so decisive. You know?
Tua was cooking that whole game.
Yeah. When he dictates the game by playing with the flow of it, bro, that's when he's at his most unstoppable. But when he has this need of, I got this, I got Tyreek, I got Waddle, I got this speed. I need to make a play right here, right now. No, bro. Like, why? Like, I'm guessing it was McDaniel because that's usually a coaching thing. But that first pick, why are you rushing his order of operations?
I was irate when I seen that.
You don't want to leave time on the clock. You're trying to get points, but you're not trying to let them double dip like George Costanza in a chip. You're trying to get points, no time on the clock. Let whatever happens to start the second half happen, but you're not letting them double dip. And what happened? Even if they wouldn't have got that interception, what are you trying to score and give them a minute and a half left?
Exactly.
I do agree with that 100%. We had this conversation earlier. I do wish McDaniel would have let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning, regrouped, gathered, open
the playbook.
Just breathe, took a deep breath, right? Gathered, really, Tua go to the sideline and y'all can really sit in dialogue about what the strategy is going to be. However,
it's like a timeout in basketball when you're drawing up.
Right. However, you still got to execute. And that interception that Tua threw, that was inexcusable.
With Roquan.
I mean,
it was a stare down. It was a stare down.
He was staring at that man for 2 weeks, bro, and threw it right to him. And I said, bro, you can't do that.
The second one, underneath defender. But yeah, the first one.
And I agree with you. Tua should have never stared that down. But straight up, man, what is it?
Breaking
Baltimore just bruh, let me tell you, man. But straight up, man, that's the real, bro. What in your mind is telling you that this is a good idea to get the snap off before the 2-minute warning when you literally just chunked them the last couple of plays? Relax. Maybe
which fight you don't go to and he's wide open up to see him again, bro? Oh my God.
The only thing I can come up with is that he was just trying to play with tempo. Yeah. Maybe, you know what I mean.
But they thought they had
But to be fair, fellas, everyone knows that Tua is he's a rhythm timing, and there's a nuance of tempo in Tua's game. But when it comes to rushing to get the snap off before he actually can take a good look at the defense, that's where I was discouraged as far as rushing that play, because that's not Tua's game. Tua's game is to relax, take a deep breath, take a look at what's going on in the secondary, understand the route concept, and then snap the football. But that pre-snap order of operation, that process, for him not to identify that at that moment and just try to hurry up and get a playoff, that was immaturity on Mike McDaniel's part as a coach that is clearly seeing that this is a good opportunity to get points on the board before halftime. Not necessarily as quickly as possible, but just get the points, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So I was like, bro, we shot ourselves in the foot. And that play was the turning point of the game, if you ask me. because the defense unraveled after that.
Yeah, that was a killer.
And then the special teams the special teams out of the locker room responded.
I've been saying
touchdown again by the offense.
I've been saying fire Crossman for like 2 years, bro. This guy's got to go, bro.
It's difficult. It's difficult to see us unravel like that.
Boys. Correct me if I'm wrong, boys. Isn't that a penalty if Berrios just lets it go out of bounds?
Yeah,
it would have been on the 40-yard line. Yeah,
been on the 40-yard line.
What are we doing? And we gave up. You do that, and you give up that huge return.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Danny, chopping board, baby. Who do you like in San Fran, Mikey boy? Who do you like, buddy? What? Like, are we serious right now? We got that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got outcoached and out executed on all three phases.
Mm-hmm. It was just a buzzsaw, bro. They ran into an absolute buzzsaw.
We were outcoached and outclassed the entire game.
Those first two drives, Tua looked like we were about to have a legit MVP battle between him and Lamar. Then
the wheels came
fell
off
apart a little bit, and Tua started forcing it instead of letting the game come to him. He made mistakes that cost us, and the defense, I mean, they couldn't stop a beach ball now.
They didn't get off the bus, bro. They didn't get off the bus.
After the 2-minute warning, that was a masterclass of being outcoached, out physicaled, out-willed, and outclassed by a well-oiled machine of a football team that you cannot play with. We say that all the time. Never play with your food when it's right in front of you.
See,
and that's basically what just happened.
Point out what Ernest said, boys. Even in dead time there, Melvin Gordon was running on us. Tyler Huntley was throwing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Melvin Gordon popped a whole kneecap when he did that move on Bradley Chubb. And I was like, why in the world are we doing this to ourselves? This guy hasn't played football in like 2 years, bro. And I don't know, man. It was a frustrating last quarter, pretty much. It was frustrating.
It was a buzzsaw, bro. They ran into a buzzsaw today.
Yeah.
Again, Lamar Jackson is gonna make plays, right? We know that. He's been an MVP before. He's been a dynamic player in the league. We know Lamar is gonna make plays.
Do you believe in Lamar and the Ravens in the playoffs when it comes time, given they're 1-3 during his era?
I see them winning their first game in the division.
I just don't think. I don't think. And again, I know this might sound crazy because the way they beat San Francisco, then they turn around 156 on us, right? Yeah. But I just have a hard time truly believing that the Ravens are this good. They're that much better than us. The San Franciscos of the world, the upper tier team. I just have a hard time believing that. And again, I could be wrong, but I just don't think they are, this much better than everybody else in the National Football League. Now, come playoff time, we all know the nature of the playoffs. We know how the competition goes up a notch or 2 or 10, right? And once teams can prepare for you, they have more, they got more time to really just focus in and hone in on your, on your team. Okay, we'll see how good Lamar. If what we're seeing from Lamar and the team in general, are they really that good? But I just have a hard time believing that they're that much better than everybody else in the league. I just don't believe that, bro. So, but what will in terms of us though? These injuries, bro, like. Man, that Chubb. We talked about this when Jalen Phillips got hurt. Reason privately, and no shade of Jalen Phillips. I love him, but I felt like the loss of Jalen Phillips, we weren't gonna miss him. I don't think the drop off was not going to be. I thought it was going to be minimal or non-existent, right? But what I did feel like we couldn't lose anybody else, like a Van Ginkel or like a Chubb. And once Chubb went down, oh my God, it was like the air.
Well, that's what I said. I accepted the loss when they were at 42 points. When we lost Chubb, that hurt more than the loss.
Absolutely. There's no replacing him. And for all, and real quick, now, Martin.
I will say, real quick, not many teams have AVG and Ogba sitting behind Phillips and Chubb.
I would agree.
That's true,
I would agree.
That's true, too.
I would agree. But you're talking about Chubb was legitimately, you know,
it ain't the same.
Man, and for all those goddamn idiots, pardon my language, gentlemen, but for all that casual talk that was going on about getting rid of Chubb and he's a bust and he ain't this and he that.
Did you see it all today? People were saying we need to draft. Maybe some people, Tua's not worth 25, 30 million a year when Daniel Jones is getting paid 40 plus. They're trying to say this guy's going to throw for 40.
It's a bunch of casual talk.
Okay, well, I'm hearing fire Fangio. I'm hearing fire McDaniel, buddy.
Casual talk.
Remember they came back out. Remember when we were on that streak there with that defense. Remember I was the one keep reminding people that. Remember these people in the first half of the season were saying, get rid of Fangio. And then you looked at the stats by week 8, by week 9, we were a top defense in the NFL. And I was sitting there saying, remember, give them till week 8. And now they're coming right back out. I'm seeing fire Fangio. I'm seeing fire McDaniel. Like, it's ridiculous, bro.
And EM, you were bringing up the Chubb situation, right? If you ask me, my number one issue with having Chubb out there or any other starter out there, I'm of the belief that Vic Fangio, I think his pride got in the way of that, and I think being down 30 points, right, 49 to 19. By the way, them getting back on the field was due to us going for it on 4th and 13 into a scrambling instead of just throwing the football. That's one. He hurt himself on that play. And then 2, when you flip the script and you put Mike White out there and him and Chris Brooks are not on the same page on a simple reverse toss and you fumble, it's like, bro, what's really going on? And that's where Big Fangio's like, all right, everybody out. Everybody get back in. Everybody get back out on the field. And that was the mistake. As soon as Chris Brooks fumbled that football, everybody, game over. Sit down. You know, that's what that should have been. But for him to say, we're not letting them get in the end zone starters out on the field, it's like, come on, dog. You're not thinking big picture.
I want to address this. Tua's 5th-year option is already picked up. He won't be signed. No, he'll be signed this offseason. All right.
He's going to get an extension.
You're going to get the extension this offseason because that way they can play with the money. That way they can restructure as soon as it hits.
Right.
This way they can move money around by doing it. That's why they're going to sign him. If they want to add to this roster or they want to keep the majority of this core intact, they need to sign him this offseason so you can play with his money. Look at what the Chiefs did with Mahomes. They signed him to a massive contract going into his 5th-year option, and then what happened? They restructured it year 1 automatically. That's what they're going to do with Tua. They'll sign him to a 5-year deal. It won't kick in, and when it till not the next season, but the year after, and they'll restructure him right away. That's what's going to happen. So, it's going to happen.
And let's not get it twisted, man. Tua has made the leap. Tua has made the leap that we've been praying for him to make.
Bro,
but there's still.
I want to say this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh no! Please no $50 million. Do you realize again? After Sunday, he's going to have over 4,700 yards, and this is with him sitting multiple fourth quarters this season. Let me put that in perspective right now. By the end of this game coming up, he's going to have around 4,700 yards, all right? And he is going to have sat for multiple quarters due to us blowing teams out. That's 5,000. That's flirting with 5,000. If you need me to do math for you right now.
They're
going to pay it $50 million. I'm sorry.
If it's not Tua, what's the alternative? I mean,
that's it. Go draft the guy that now we got to start this all over again. And they're not going to do
doesn't
that.
Make any sense.
They're not going to do that because of how far we are. We're too deep into this contractually to lay this on the doormat of a rookie quarterback. And you're not going to get Drake May. All right? You're not going to go up. I don't want Caleb Williams.
And there's no guarantee that they're going to come in and be better than what you already have, bro.
That's true.
Again,
that's
read
true.
my lip. Not you, Yam. Read my lips. 4,700 yards around there by the end of the season and multiple sack quarters. What does that mean? He would have flirted with 5,000 this year. If he
he would have clearly been over 30 touchdowns by now. If that were the case as well.
It's so much casual energy in the air after the knee-jerk reactions, bro. Like, I'm like,
it was a bad loss, though.
You're telling everybody when you have these reactions, right? When something doesn't go right, because these same people, like when things do go right,
the solution, but they got no answers, bro. It makes no sense,
bro. You're telling us all, you're telling the world that you're a casual without telling us that you're a fucking casual.
I don't want to hear.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to hear. We could have had Lamar because did y'all not watch how the Ravens set that up? The Ravens set that up. So if anyone was going to offer him a contract, they could have matched it. What are you talking about? The Ravens were never going to let Lamar walk. Remember the tag they used on him, right? The transition tag. Remember, they transition tagged him so they could match any offer.
And can we please wait until
you were never going to get Lamar. You were never going to get Lamar. They were never going to let him walk. That offense is tailored to Lamar. They were never going to let him walk.
And can we please wait and let the season, in first? Like, bro, they could. What are they gonna say if Baltimore, right? Their first opportunity, they get their opportunity in the postseason, they get bounced out in the first game. What are you gonna say then, bro? Can we at least wait and let the season play out first? I mean, this shit is ridiculous.
Can I keep going? Can I keep going right now, bro? This guy says, you think McDaniel's a great coach? I think there's great aspects to his coaching.
No, he's not great yet. No, he's not great yet.
There's great aspects to his coaching. You see it pop up in his play design. Now, there's flawed aspects to his play call. There's flawed aspects to his coaching, which is why he's not a great coach, i.e., his situational play calling, for example, his clock management skills.
Right. Okay? That's a big issue.
There's certain, but let me tell you this. All right. He's growing as a coach. He's 2 years in. And as we sit here on January 1st, 2024, last I checked, we are 20-13 up until this point with about to have two straight playoff appearances. Name me the last coach that offered us this.
And what coach gets labeled, gets anointed as great in year two? What coach?
None.
Look at the injuries he's had to put up with. No QB1 last year. Look at all the injuries this year. Look at what he's made happen, and look at the record he stands with in 2 straight playoff years. And we win this weekend. We win. We're set up, bro. Like
Mike McDaniel's a great coach, man. He's a great communicator.
I think.
I ain't willing to call it. He ain't great. No, not in my book. He ain't great yet. He ain't great yet.
He hasn't won a playoff game yet. I can't call him great yet.
Okay, well, if we're talking about criteria, we're talking about
really good. He's good on the cusp of really good.
What he's proven is that he's a good play designer. He's proven that, right? He's a very good to borderline great play designer.
And he can script
He's
drive.
Not a great play caller yet. There's a difference between designing a playbook and calling that playbook in real time.
Yeah,
those are two totally different things.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree,
but my issue isn't. My issue isn't with his play calling from the 20 to 20. Normally, I'd say about like 80% of the time. My issue, the majority of the time, is either situationally on 3rd and 4th down, or when we get inside the red zone. Situational play calling is where he really lacks. Like that's where. That's where
that's due to lack of experience, bro.
Yeah, I agree. He's been a one-time offensive coordinator.
The only way he's going to get better, just like players, they only get better through repetition.
Listen,
and it's just
this. How's he not learned on the fade this year alone?
That's more tied to lack of good play design in the goal line. I think that's more tied to play design.
What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over
and over and expecting different results.
Expecting a different result. Yeah. So that is an issue.
Tua lays a dime today, and Julian Hill can't put it in for the 2 points. You knew he was going to go to the fade, whether it's on the touch, the touchdown to H-10 or the 2 point.
By the way, reason nudge. Zach Ertz doesn't drop that.
listen.
No,
You're telling
no.
me we couldn't use Zach Ertz for this stretch with what you've seen them, how you've seen them attack the seam lately? Stop right now.
It's hard. What was actually really disappointing though was that Chase Claypool drop.
But yo, listen, scrap
that was disappointing.
I'm not here for Ertz anymore. You need to go get Jason Pierre-Paul back, and you need to go give Ndamukong Suh what he wants. And you need to say, there you go, gentlemen. Go have at it. Go bring the mercenary in. Go bring him in and say, let's go.
Bringing the hitman for hire.
Bro, whatever. You got to supplement. Listen, I'm going to tell you this right now because I'm going to tell you, I know fans, you won't do it. Brother, if I see you ain't like, listen, Christian Wilkins, bro, I would have, if we had Sue on the roster, he would have got some snaps there.
Damn, be careful now.
I would have rotated him.
Careful now.
I'm not saying it would have worked. I'm not saying it would have worked. But from what I saw from Christian Wilkins today, what the hell would I have had to lose rotating in Ndamukong Suh for some snaps here? What would I have had to lose?
Be careful now.
Listen.
So
maybe Ndamukong Suh will actually draw the flag on the holds, bro. I don't know.
You know how this fan base is in their feelings about Christian Wilkins. You already know that.
Whatever. Listen, and they're in their fan base about Sue because they haven't got over it. But I'm not. Listen, F feelings. I'm here for Lombardi's, baby. All right. And I don't care right now. You got to go supplement the best way you can. You just lost Bradley Chubb. I think your best bet is go bring JPP back and go Ndamukong Suh. Say, listen, would you want now after what he saw this week? Would he still be interested? I don't know. But, listen, what was I saying all offseason, even lead up to the trade deadline, boys? Give me a backup linebacker and give me a backup center. Where we sit, what do you wish we had right now? Imagine if we could kick Liam Eichenberg at right guard, get Lester Cotton's ass off the field, and have Robert Jones at the other. We'd even probably feel a little bit better about our interior there, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Huh? And imagine if we weren't today. Listen, he exceeded our expectations the past couple of weeks. Well, mine alone, I can say. I don't know about you, gentlemen. But today I saw the Duke Riley I was worried about. The Duke Riley that, what did you talk about, EM? When these coaches and these coordinators get tunnel vision in the playoffs and they scheme specifically for you, what are they going to be looking at after the film today?
Well, I mean, you listen. Duke Riley has played well for us this year. I think it's he got exposed today. Right, but I'm not gonna, and I'm not saying any
game, brother. That was a playoff.
I hear you. I'm not willing to go. I'm not willing to really just scrap the whole Duke Riley experiment. I mean, because
you can't. What do you got?
I mean, exactly. I mean, who else is left behind him?
Well, I was saying you should have that's what I was saying with center. I said in the offseason and I said before the trade deadline, supplement center, supplement linebacker for these reasons.
True.
And I'm saying it's biting us in the ass right now.
And it's 100%. That's a fact. 100%.
Again, man, listen. Again, I'm not really to just we don't have any other options behind Duke Riley right now. But he had a bad game. But I'm gonna give him the opportunity to rebound. We'll see what he looks like against Buffalo on Sunday. But you can say you can say every player got exposed today. I mean that D line, second level, secondary, etc. Everybody got exposed today. Everybody did. Yeah. So I'm not gonna overreact with and just single him out right now. The defense as a whole, bro, got exposed. So they need to regroup. Right? They need to obviously look at the film, figure out what went wrong. And again, I'm just, the most difficult thing to swallow about this game is how they were just bullied, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been stout. They've been physical all year long. And it's like they were just like, they did not want to engage today at all on the defensive side of the football. So, they need to figure that out. Again, man, something. Why was there such a, that big of a disconnect? Right? They need to figure that out.
Actually, this was actually the first game where our defense looked
Hold your thought, Martin. Hold on your thought, Martin, and then you can go. Shuggy Wuggy with the greatest pitcher ever says, "I like McDaniel, but he got a lot to learn and apply." Go ahead, Martin.
That's the fact. And EM defensively. that was the first time I've seen them all year look scared and intimidated, and like deer in the headlights, like, oh, bleep, these dudes are like better than us. And up and down the field, bro. Again, Vic Fangio made a conscious decision to force Lamar to beat the Miami Dolphins from the pocket, and Lamar did not disappoint, man. The guy literally played his best game
it was on my keys
of the year.
Make him beat you from the pocket for 60 minutes. The problem was also on my keys to victory. Also was, Zaire Nosey. Our secondary was still talented enough, or they should have handled their receivers. Let's be real with ourselves. Not lying with that. We shouldn't have been cooked the way we were. I mean, Rashad Bateman out here trying to have a legacy game against us. Who are we lying to right now, right? And
Rashad Bateman, he is Xavien Howard's boogeyman. Because I mean, you go back to last year, he absolutely rotisserized X last year, bro. Right? Had him. He was slow cooking him, he was well on his way. I think I'm trolling here, but X, I think he kind of tapped out. He faked that injury, that foot injury. He knew what was coming. He knew what was coming. I'm trolling.
My third key was you had to get home and finish finish your plays, right? And look at when we did get home, strip sack. When we did get home, put them at 3rd and 25. When we did get home, they were having problems, but. It all of a sudden it felt like they made the proper adjustments. Their defense properly adjusted to our offense, while our defense was just like, all right, we're just going to continue in zone
and reason. You know what's not necessarily talked about enough? The Ravens' first drive, how we literally had them defensively backed up. Like penalties backed up. 3rd and 16, Justice Hill on a slip screen.
Yeah.
Gets that 16 yards first down. And from that moment forward, they just completely had full control of that offense against our defense.
Yeah, it was. We had them after the pass interference, right? And what's crazy is what's crazy is, right, because we had them 3rd and 16, like you said, the Justice Hill, the 18-yard pickup or whatever. But remember, on 3rd and 6, where they had the OPI, don't you remember they gained 26 yards? Don't you remember they cooked us? Anyways, and then we had them 3rd and 16, and then you give up 18, and then you had a 25-yard play, and then and then it was a 5-yard play, a 14-yard play, and then the 20-yard touchdown. Then they just chunked us to death, bro. It was
they ate, man. They ate.
It felt like Boyer, and you know what it felt like, boys? It felt like Boyer and Buffalo all over again.
I tell you, Fangio's got his work cut out for him moving forward, because now, see, it's one thing to lose a secondary player or a pass rush guy. Now, you lost 2 significant pieces to your defense, a cover guy and your best pass rusher now. So, man, he has got his work cut out for him.
Okay, so let me ask you this. With X, are we going to get what we want? Do we get Ramsey Island? Is he going to be shadowing? And now we're going to get what we want.
Do you have a choice? I don't think we have much of a choice.
Well, this is kind of what we want, isn't he? He erased Garrett Wilson. He erased Terry McLaurin. When CeeDee went one-on-one with him, he erased his ass.
If you want the number 2 seed,
and Diggs
you better follow Stephon Diggs.
Diggs hasn't been that good the last couple weeks, bro. It's been like Gabe and Josh Allen stepping up. You could wipe Stephon Diggs off the map in Miami.
But reason we already know this. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs
we are
turn up against Miami.
Okay. So Ramsey can cover him, but the problem is, you are going to need someone to lock down Gabe Davis.
That's true too.
That's a quiet key matchup of the week, bro. That's a quiet.
How about you do a man-on-man, Ramsey and Diggs, and double team Gabe Davis?
Yeah.
And then have another one-on-one with the rookie tight end, what's his name? Kincaid. Yeah, with like Elliott.
And then
you know, like you can mix it up like
and then
that.
they saw what Likely did to us. Does Kincaid expose us on the second level a little bit too?
Well, you know something, to be honest with you, that play that Holland got beat on, that was just a phenomenal throw from Lamar, dude. Like we talked about it privately.
Yeah, but Holland did look a little slow today with the knees. He did.
And that's to be expected. I think he was a little rusty, bro. It's gonna take. He needs another game to get his rhythm back.
With Ramsey, because Ramsey was giving him the work.
But yeah, he has no choice now. You got to be as creative as you've been all year, Vic Fangio, because you are severely undermanned now, and it's crunch time, bro. Show us why.
But it's no different than the Miami Dolphins offense either.
Yeah,
the Miami Dolphins offense is undermanned.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Both sides of the ball.
I agree.
Right? Look at it. If you add it, Phillips X and Chubb are basically Connor, Hunt, Isaiah Wynn. I'm not even counting Reem and Jalen Waddle.
Right, man. Key pieces, man.
So, is there any chance Waddle comes back this week? You think? Reason, Martin?
I hope not.
No,
I hope not.
To the playoffs, it was reported earlier even today. Birdman says you can tell during the post-game interview with McDaniel, this is going to haunt him and Fangio if the Dolphins don't get where they should get to this season.
And even with the injuries, fellas, you can never go wrong by just executing. You know what I mean? The game plan will always be the game plan. Forget about who's available. Forget about who's not. Play to your strengths and execute every play like your life depended on it. It's a 70-play game for the most part on offense, and vice versa on defense. You're going to have about 140, 145 to 150 plays a game. Every play matters, and if you lock in and just play with what you have, take every play as with a grain of salt. Like, this is the next play that needs to be made, bro. It'll all make sense when the clock hits 000. So they just have to play with that sense of urgency. Not that we need to make plays or not that we need certain players, but just execute what your coaches have coached you to do, and everything else should work itself out. That's how we need to approach it, considering we're missing so many core pieces on both sides of the football. There's no way around playmaking when you don't have the players to make those plays for you.
Ernest makes a good point. He says execution beats personnel. Seen that firsthand today.
I know one thing though. What we saw in terms of the lack of physicality against the run, Buffalo has completely, over the last 5 weeks or so, like Buffalo has completely morphed into what they're trying to, right? A more balanced team.
No,
and
Run better get their crap together.
They better get it together because they're coming in, bro. They what the objective is going to be. So whatever went wrong today, it needs to get fixed like yesterday. So because if Buffalo is coming in there and if they can control tempo, they can control the clock. They can get we won time significant production on the ground. We're not beating Buffalo next week. We're not beating them next week.
We won time of possession today.
Yeah. But Baltimore
lost the
turnovers and explosive plays kind of offset that.
See, that's what when we talked earlier. When we talked earlier, EM, that's what I said. We gave up way too many explosives today. Way too many explosives. Whether it was broken coverage or a good throw from Lamar or a good run. Because let's be honest, in the screen game and run game, their blocking was phenomenal. They were sealing everything off today. They were
even
good.
At the receivers too.
Again,
the receivers are blocking too.
It goes back to what Ernest Justice said: the execution from the offensive line. Right? Like look at Achan. We saw Achan bust some runs where it seemed on the screens and such where the blocking was okay, but it was just he was so fast and his vision was so good, he was just gone. You know what I mean? Like, but these guys are Gus Edwards, Justice Hill. We're not talking about fucking 4-2 guys chewing us up, bro.
Nah, they just got behind. once you get down, bro, especially multiple touchdowns, you gotta abandon the run to some degree. You gotta throw the ball. You know what I mean? You don't run to get caught up. You throw.
But even when it was close, didn't you feel like? Even when it was close, didn't you feel like we were passing it a little bit too much compared to what Achane was doing on the ground? Like felt like there were some drives where we could have been giving it to Achane a little bit more.
Yeah, but Baltimore was stiffening at times. I felt like because we got we got several negative plays, right? Which
okay, perfect example. Okay, perfect example. Remember when we got the ball back? We were up 10-7 after their punt. Remember we forced them to punt. Remember we got that first board out. Bro, check this out. Tagovailoa passed it incomplete to Tyreek Hill. 2nd and 10. Right guard to Miami 20. 5 yards, Devin Achane. 3rd and 5. Pass short middle to Smythe, 22 yards. 1st and 10. Tagovailoa sacked for a loss of 5. 2nd and 15. Pass short to Achane for 4 yards. 3rd and 11. Pass incomplete to Cedric. Right? Like, okay, you got the 22-yard gain with Smythe. Run it on 1st down, bro. You just got 5 yards the last time you touched it. We ended up forcing ourselves into a corner where we ended up passing 5 times out of 6 plays and had to punt the ball.
That's I see it. Look at
this. Okay, that's what happened. Chicken. Hold on. Now we get the ball back. Guys, remember that field goal to make it 14-13 drive?
Yeah.
Achane up the middle for 3. 2 incomplete to Tyreek. 2 deep to Smythe for 16. Wilson up the middle for 5. 2 incomplete to Achane. 2 incomplete to Chosen. 2 pass deep left to Tyreek. Achane left for no gain. 2 incomplete. 2 incomplete. Field goal. 11 plays ran the ball 3 times. After a drive where we had 6 plays and threw the ball 5 times.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's 17 plays and we ran the ball 4 times.
And respectfully,
and we were getting 5-3. Yeah, we had one of those runs had no gain, but other than that, we were pretty much we gained what? Let me do the math quickly. 12 yards on 4 gains on 4 runs,
which is decent. And
you know, and McDaniel is crazy. We've seen it all year, right? He chooses to abandon a run when you're most productive.
Bro, if I get a chunk play, from Smythe for 22, I'm coming back and running on you, bro.
I mean, go back to the Tennessee game, bro. Look at how they were defending us. Look at how the production we were getting on the ground. That was a game where we should have ran the football 40 times, right? And again, normally coaches abandon something if it's not working. Pardon my language, this motherfucker bends a run when we are absolutely gashing teams and we are the most productive and he gets away from it, bro. It's crazy.
You know what's also frustrating me?
Check this out. Hold on.
Crazy.
Tua was 23 of 38, 237, average 6.2 yards per completion, right? Rushing the football, 25 carries, 154 yards. Guess what? Average as a team, average 6.2 yards per carry.
Come on now. Come on now. Man, that is.
But again,
I go back to what Martin said earlier, and I said this actually last week or the week before in a passing sense. I felt we need to start featuring Achane in the passing sets more. And you saw them starting to do the slot and stuff. Goes back to what Martin says. Right now, with Waddle off the field and Tyreek banged up, Achane is your second best playmaker on the field. Feature him. Feature him as much as possible.
Ricky or not.
Slants, drags, get him in open space. Like he can, look at the touchdown catch he made. Don't tell me he don't got hands and can't. Oh my God! The guy can make plays.
And nothing to Achane, but I was so upset when Achane made that catch like that. Not because it was a running back. Not because it's a running back showing wide receivers.
Yeah.
How this is how you need to catch the football.
Yeah.
But it was like, man.
Remember last week?
He's the only one showing up.
Well, no. Remember last week, Martin? Little piece. A lot of people will forget unless they go over the film. Remember last week? Remember how he pointed out he was the only one who dived for one of the out routes?
Right.
He was the only one that dove out and put his. I thought if you see all season that dove to put his body out on the line to make that because he knew I'm past the stakes. I get this first down. Remember, it's a 3rd down. I'm passing sticks. I get the third down if I make this play. He put his body on the line.
Right, man.
Well,
Right.
I don't even see guys making that effort. Yet I'm sitting here watching a
it doesn't make any
305-pound fullback making a 101 cannon catch, likely making a
that was
one-handed
so funny,
catch.
bro.
OBJ acting like he's in, Eli Manning's
Back in New York. Nah, man, it was one of those games where nothing was in our ties. It wasn't in our.
What
you
said earlier, even Brooks and Mike White, even they screwed up.
Yeah,
Like,
bro. On a simple toss.
It was a buzzsaw, bro. It was an absolute buzzsaw we ran into today. Nothing.
Yeah.
It happens in the NFL.
We unraveled.
Right. It's just man.
What worries me, boys, is that the injuries have piled up. And they're too much to overcome on a run here, deep run.
A Super Bowl run, right?
I agree.
Like I don't agree. I don't think we're frauds. I think injuries have led us more to a team that might be able to compete for the AFC Championship game, not the Super Bowl.
I would agree.
But still, shout out to Tua for starting all 16 games this season. And finishing all 16 games this season.
Well, he still has one more.
Knock on wood.
He has one more.
And he has one more left. All I'm saying is,
hopefully 4 more after that. To be honest with you.
But if there ever was a time, right, for Tua to kind of put some of these narratives to bed, it's fucking Sunday, bro.
Well, that's why I can't get on this.
They have flexed that game.
Chicken Little. That's why I cannot be this Chicken Little and be one of these bridge jumpers, because I told you on the phone, these people are going to look like fucking idiots if we beat Buffalo, take home the AFC East, and lock down the number 2 seed in Miami. These people that are trying to have our fan base jump off a bridge right now, they're going to look like idiots, bro. They're going to look like
who are these people?
Bro.
Oh, yeah?
Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Where do you want to go,
I need names. I need names, goddammit.
But
I gotta call up the elves in the North Pole because the list is so fucking long, bro.
Hey, but look, right? The situation that we're actually in right now is we're guaranteed 8 more quarters of the season. We're guaranteed 2 more games of the season. What we can do is project, if we take care of business these next 8 quarters, we can exponentially grow them into 4 more quarters after that. And then we win those 4 quarters, we can exponentially grow it into 4 more quarters after that. We got 20 quarters to win the Super Bowl, fellas. That's the reality. We have 20 quarters of football to win the Super Bowl if we win all of those quarters. Not by the score, but how we play. Situational football. You have 20 quarters, Miami Dolphins. If you lock in these next 20 quarters, as decimated and as depleted as we are with players, you will be Super Bowl champion. Let Mike McDaniel deliver that message and soak it in, because that's really what it all comes down to. 20 quarters of football.
Shout out to Dolphins for life, bro. You ever seen those witches that are over the cauldron just stirring that shit? That's what it is. Just stirring the pot, bro.
You goddamn right. I need names. We gonna need names.
Bro, I told you, bro. Listen, I got the elves of the North Pole working on it, bro.
I need that paperwork
twice, bro.
I need that paperwork.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna tell you.
That is
listen,
hilarious.
I'm at the point where, bro, especially if we win Sunday, I'm gonna be insufferable, bro.
Are the gloves coming off? Are the gloves coming off?
With how down this team is, bro, with how depleted and down this team is, if they go handle Buffalo in their house and they lock down number 2 and the AFC East and we win that division, bro, I'm murking. And 2 is 4,700 yards.
Are the gloves coming off? Are the gloves coming off, Reason? I need it on wax.
The gloves are coming on with the
I need it on wax.
Yo. They might bring old Reason back, bro. We're throwing haymakers like Rocky Balboa. I don't know.
We don't wear gloves around here. We don't wear gloves around here.
EM, the gloves are coming off, and the silencer is coming out of its suitcase.
Yeah.
Oh man,
and we are pew pew.
Oh
bro,
man,
I'm gonna tell you this.
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you this. They especially don't want to watch. I'm gonna tell you this. They especially don't want to see Tua beat Buffalo and then win a playoff game. Oh, I'm gonna be real insufferable then. Oh boy, It's going to be not fun for these people. It is just, and imagine if it's Buffalo back to back, because I know there's scenarios. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you this. I want the Steelers, and it's kind of not really. If we beat the Bills and get that out of the way, I want the Steelers, and it's not really because I think they're easier the path. I want to avenge what happened in 2016 with the unicorn line when Tannehill went out and they handed us our ass when we had Matt Moore.
With Matt Moore.
I want to avenge that. All right.
And Bud Dupree obliterated.
Buffalo wants to go handle their ish in their matchup, and then Baltimore gets knocked out, and we got to play Buffalo at home in the divisional round. I'm down for that, but we got to revenge that 2016 loss. That's what I'm saying. Give me that chance.
I'm with it.
And
I'm with it.
Let's get our feet under us a little bit. Because here's the thing. We can talk about 1-3 for the Ravens or Lamar. At the end of the day, people, we can talk about Tua, the inconsistencies we've seen with his game-winning drives and how he's looked in clutch moments. But we ain't seen Tua with the brightest lights yet. We have not seen him under the playoff.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
We haven't seen McDaniel.
And I can't wait.
We've seen McDaniel under the playoff.
I can't wait.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying about Sunday.
Can I say this? We saw McDaniel under the playoff lights, and gentlemen, last year with
He did not
Skylar Thompson,
disappoint.
he put up a good enough game where if Waddle makes the catch on that opening drive, Skylar Thompson, the Miami Dolphins, might have won that first round.
Mm-hmm.
In Buffalo, might I add. Thank you very much.
Well, next week. Well, that's a playoff game next week.
For sure. The playoffs start next week, for sure.
It's next week.
Starts next week.
So this is a prime. If there's ever a time to where we need not just Tua, but the whole team to really kind of come together and kind of overcome, the emotional. Because again, man, can you imagine what that locker room is going to be like for a good portion of this week? Now that Jalen Phillips has gone down, now that Xavien Howard has gone down, now Bradley Chubb is gone. The emotional stability is what I'm most concerned about this week, because it's human nature to get caught up in the emotional aspect of it. Key players, captains, significant pieces of your team, right, are gone. Connor Williams gone, right? And it's difficult. You got to be able to shake loose of that and refocus, recalibrate, and really get focused back on the task at hand. And this needs to be Mike from an emotional standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, not just X's and O's, but emotionally, he needs to, find a way to really tap in and keep these players engaged, bro. Because again, just like us as fans, we took a significant blow. It was a gut punch to all of us losing the players that we lost, not just today, but all year. But
sure, you
can imagine the players. You can imagine how they're feeling right now. Like, damn, we snake bit. But this is where, not only Mike McDaniel, but the Darrell Bevels of the world, Vic Fangio's of the world, you got to find a way to keep these players engaged, right? So this needs to be their biggest. I can't wait to see what Hard Knocks is going to be like Tuesday.
I was just going to say,
man.
EM's gonna have his popcorn ready for that.
What's that?
Bruh.
For that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can't wait for that one on two. It's gonna be bittersweet, but I'm really, and again, I know they only show but so much, but this needs to be McDaniel. If you can ever, you got to figure out a way to keep this team engaged, bro. You have to, because that was could be a catastrophic emotional blow to this team, bro. So we'll see, man. But
I mean, you just keep.
This is where Tua's leadership as well needs to be. This is where leadership from that position needs to be on full display, and he got to figure out a way to galvanize this team, bro. Keep them engaged. So
and not with no happy, like we're gonna do this, guys. More so like we're going to do this, guys. We're not going to allow this loss define the rest of this season. He has to do it, man.
You're saying
step into those shoes.
Hold on. Are you saying we're not going to allow any
emotional damage?
We're not going to allow any emotional damage? Is that what you're saying?
Man.
No emotional damage?
More.
We can't.
No more.
We can't,
no
bro.
More.
You got to shake loose of that. You got to shake loose of that. You have to. So
Yeah.
We'll see, man. But this is the time because I mean, if they lose, and again, I'm not knock on wood, I'm not putting that out in that negative energy out in the universe. But man, you talk about a collapse. They don't get it done on Sunday, man. It's our season is done, bro. I mean, really, if they don't get it done Sunday, they gonna lose. Well, I'm not gonna even say that, but it's gonna be very difficult for them to win a playoff game this season.
In Kansas City.
I don't know with the way Kansas City's playing, bro. I mean, Mahomes ain't exactly lighting the world on fire right now.
But Kansas City's playoff experience is what you have to always take into consideration.
110%.
Regardless of how they've looked all year.
And that's one of the hardest places to win at. They have almost the exact same record at home over the last since November 2021. They have almost the exact same home record. I think both teams are 16-3 at home.
And it'll just be our luck. It'll be so Dolphins this year that, if we wind up having to go to Arrowhead and play them, that's the game that Mahomes is going. They're going to have a breakout game offensively, bro. Hey, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to risk it. Take care of your business. That way you don't have to worry about that. Just take care of Buffalo on Sunday.
TCB.
So it's tough, bro. It's tough, gentlemen. This one, I said before the game, we
but
talked
the problem is, boys, dog, listen, if you would have finished off that Titans game, everything's already wrapped up.
Oh, yeah.
That's the game everyone needs to point to.
Man,
that's the one we need to. And what did I tell you didn't I tell you a couple weeks ago? Remember I said, well, it was before the Dallas game. Yeah, remember I said if we don't come out of this a 3-game stretch on the positive side, didn't I say we're gonna look back to the Titans game?
Oh yeah,
and
that's gonna be
the game. And
that's the game,
buddy. We would have had number 2 seed in the AFC wrapped up, no matter what Buffalo does on Christmas Eve. It would have been over and done with. Today would have been for the number 1 seed, and if we lost, we wouldn't even needed to play anyone against Buffalo this weekend. We could have let everyone get healthy, and there you go. But
I'm with you, Reason, but
that Titans game is the one everyone needs to point at, not the Chiefs game. Even though I've said it ad nauseum, Tyreek alone caused us a 16-23-point swing in the first half that should have been on our side. But don't look at that. Don't look at Tyreek's drop against Philadelphia. I'm starting to hear a recurring theme here, but don't look at that stuff.
Careful now.
It keeps happening.
I've been out of heaven. I called him out for
Careful now.
December against Buffalo last year, him or Sherfield make that catch in the different game, right? Walk-in touchdown against Philly. Hey, we recovered thanks to Jalen Waddle, but he dropped a touchdown against Dallas. KC drop at the 30, then a fumble at the 31. You left 3 to 7 points on the drop because we didn't get points, and then you left 3 to 7 points on the fumble, you gave them 7 points. That play alone was, think about that.
It flipped the script,
dude. That was a 10 to 17. That was a 10 to 14 point swing on that play alone.
They flipped the script,
dude. We should have blown them out. If you look at the, and I'm not even talking about where. You remember Waddle made the catch in the first half at the 26, but it got called back because I believe it was a hold or something. You remember that penalty we took?
Right.
And we got no points on that drive. That's another 3 to 7. Right. So we should have blown them out if you think about it.
Because our defense shut them out in the second half.
Dude, listen, I agree. I'll say this. I agree. Tua came up flat and didn't get it done on that last drive. 110%. Shouldn't even have been in that position though. Based on the first half, we should have been taking a knee, brother. It should have been. Thank you, Germany. Let's go have some Das Boots and some Frankfurt, and then let's go home. That's what it should have been. But instead, what happened?
And think about it. He left 7 points on the board against Dallas, bro. We just was lucky. We were just blessed to come back in that game, But you can't hand the ball off any better than what Tua did. Didn't that throw Tua made? And again, he hits you in stride, bro. You're hitting your head on a goalpost. You left 7 points on a bro. Again, reoccurring theme here, and Tyreek, bro, you got to get it together, man. You especially against these upper tier teams, man. You can get away with that bullshit against the Denver Broncos, against the, the lesser tier teams, the Panthers or whatnot. But bro, when you
On
are
the big money moments,
this
baby, that's
time
how
of
you get
year,
paid by
bro,
the big
this
money.
time of year, and then ultimately the postseason, bro, those opportunities are few and far between. And when they present
Agreed.
itself, you have to capitalize. Period.
Well, what's the two things you
And
don't want to get? What's the two things you don't want to get caught at in playoff season? We escaped it last time. Usually, you don't want to get caught in a playoff battle, and you, especially the number one rule, you don't want to leave points on the field. You
Mm-hmm.
just do not.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right. And let's be fair to Tyreek Hill as well.
Jason asked, "Would you rather beat Buffalo at home or at KC?"
Beat Buffalo at home. You don't want to go to KC.
No.
And that means we have the 2 seed, and we have the AFC East. Listen, I
And
know
then we
it was
play
said
the
earlier, boys.
seventh seed.
I know it was said earlier, boys, but based off Lamar's regime, isn't it feasible that we do play the first game at home? And in the divisional, the Ravens, they're cold. They're at cold. I don't mean because of the weather, but cold. They might not play their starters this week, right? Might not going to play their starters this week. They'll have a first round bye. They don't have the greatest record at home. They don't have the greatest playoff record under Lamar, 1-3. It's very possible that whomever the 2 seed is, whether it's KC, whether it's Miami, they could have home field advantage after the divisional. That's a very real possibility. That's very real.
Well, I know one thing. I know it's one team that Baltimore, they would rather avoid. I'm not saying they don't want to see them, but they would rather avoid. That's that Cleveland's team. And really, really all teams in the AFC.
Flacco?
Call it what you want.
Flacco's this year's Kerry Collins? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Man, that team, listen, that is a team. That is a team that I would rather avoid. I'm not saying I don't want to see them, but if I can, I would rather stay away from that team.
Okay, EM. Are they better? See, they got over Nick Chubb, which is huge. Jerome Ford out of Cincinnati didn't know he had this in him, but are you more worried about the Browns with Joe Flacco because of how he utilizes Amari Cooper or Deshaun Watson and Njoku? Njoku had 142 yards in the first half last week.
We talked about this privately. I told you, I think a lot of why Deshaun has regressed. I don't think it's an ideal scheme fit for him. It's like what with Sean Payton with Russell Wilson. Yeah. Scheme fits matter, bro. And you look at Russ, you look at Deshaun, very similar type of players in terms of stylistically, right? And I just think they're just in the wrong formats. And I think it's contributed to some regression with Russ as well as Deshaun. And Flacco now, again, in that offense, the more time he gets, in that offense, it gets acclimated to, as the season has progressed. I mean, Flacco was playing some of his best football of his career, bro. That again, you combine that defense. That win
against the Ravens.
Absolutely, yeah. And they already beat the Ravens this year. They already beat them earlier in the year. So again, they look like a team that's getting hot and that are really clicking on all cylinders at the right time. And again, if I can't avoid that team, that's one team I would rather avoid. And I think the rest of the AFC feels the same way, including Baltimore, in my opinion.
I agree. Cleveland is number 1. I don't really want to see. Buffalo is number 2, and the Houston Texans are number 3 on my list as far as teams you just don't want to see right now. And honestly, the AFC is such a gauntlet. Whoever comes out of this conference should win the Super Bowl. Straight up. Whoever comes out of this conference should be the Super Bowl champion. Because they've earned that through this type of gauntlet that we're about to get into when playoff time comes. It's going to be rough.
Bro.
Yeah, it's going to be a dogfight.
It all comes down to prime time. The last regular season game of the regular season. This is the last game. There's no Monday night game. This is it. We played the last game on the schedule. And you talked about narratives earlier, EM. Please shake that primetime narrative. Please, God. This is where I wish we had the orange. This is where I wish we had the orange jerseys, guys.
And real quick reason, people are saying Houston doesn't scare them. They don't have a defense. They got CJ Stroud, bro,
and they're good coaches. They're being coached really well.
They got good coaches. As far as D'Amico Ryan, the offensive coordinator, knows exactly what he's doing. And CJ Stroud does not play like a rookie quarterback. That dude is as clever to get, even as a young buck.
It makes me wonder what Tua would have been. It makes me wonder what Tua would have been in a Shanahan offshoot offense out of the gate.
As a rookie, yeah.
Killing it, and his processing is just it's high level
right
now.
Yeah, it is. It's off the charts.
See, that's the thing. They're being coached really well from front to back too. Look at what they're getting out of Devin.
That's what I mean.
Like Tank Dell is deadly. Look at what they're they paid Dalton Schultz and it's paying off, right?
Exactly.
I want to hear your guys' grade. How would you grade Tua today? I'd give him a C-.
I'll give him a C+.
No, I'm gonna give
him a C+.
I'm gonna give Tua a D. I'm gonna give him a D. I think and again, we talked about earlier about how McDaniel should have let the clock run down and get to the 2-minute warning, and I'm in a complete agreement with you. But at the end of the day, I can't excuse the lack of execution there. I can't excuse Tua staring a receiver down for 3 weeks, right, and allowing it. And then on top of that, what was he seeing anyway? It ain't like Cedric Wilson had completion
percentage at one point. It was like 12 of 24. It was like 50%. It was
yeah. And on top of that, I mean, I don't know what Tua was seeing, right?
Was it the thumb? I wonder if it was the thumb on the completion percentage. I don't know.
I don't know.
No. I don't think
not with the interception. Accurate. The interception was.
I thought Tua was accurate today. To be honest.
Yeah, he was. But again, but at the end of the day, in those moments, like look at how impactful that interception was.
It was game changing
over the game. I mean, it was game changing. And as a quarterback, in a game, a high level game like that, when all the chips are in the middle of the table, you got to be conscious of that. And again, Reason touched on this. We talked about this privately. I heard you touch on this earlier, Reason. Going through that process of learning how to win, you got to take what the defense gives you, right? You can't get in you got to shake those bad habits of predetermining, pre-snap, no matter what the presentation the defense is showing you, you're still going to throw the football in this area because you got your mind made up before you even get out of the huddle, right? You got to shake those bad habits in those moments, especially. Look at how high pressurized a drive that was, right? Think about if they would have went out before the halftime and scored 7 points. The game is completely changed. And you have to be aware of those moments as a quarterback. And that's why I can't excuse that. And I can't, even the second one, I don't even know why was Tua forcing the ball to Tyreek Hill in the first place? Where was the window at on those two?
There was none. There was none.
So again, I cannot excuse that. That is inexcusable as a quarterback, bro. In those moments in a game like this, bro, on the road, we all know what was at stake today. So no, I got to give him a D. I'm not going to flunk him, but I'll give him a D for today.
And I would agree with you on what you just presented because there's absolute truth and facts to that. But there's also some blame that has to be passed down to Mike McDaniel when it comes to, is Tua that type of quarterback right now? And my answer of that would be no. He's not a, hurry up to the line, snap ready, and balls out quick type of quarterback. Tua assesses things. He chews his food before he swallows. And pause. And when it comes to pause again, when it comes to reading the defense, Tua has to know what defense is about to come, pause again, before he throws the football. That's the issue I have with rushing the play. That's why I got to put it on Mike McDaniel before I put it on Tua, because Mike McDaniel should know that's not a part of Tua's DNA right now. He's not let me get the ball out quickly before the 2 minute off, before the 2 minute warning.
Well,
that's not what he does.
Well, again, if you are an MVP level player, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You have to. How many? Look at Lamar today. Hang on, Martin. Hang on.
I don't think he is.
Hang on. Look at Lamar today, right? We've never seen Lamar. I haven't. Well, I can't speak for you gentlemen. I've never seen Lamar that disciplined from within the pocket in all the years that he's played, right? Again, out of his comfort zone. You forced him put him in based off his tendencies, right? Vic Fangio forced him to beat make plays consistently from within the pocket. He did that, right? That's what MVP level players do, bro.
Right.
Everything is not going to be perfect. Everything is not. The NFL is nothing is perfect in the NFL.
Agreed.
You have to rise above. You got to get out of your comfort zone, and you have to make plays sometimes, right? More often than not, especially in games like this, right? If you are a true MVP level player, you have to get out of your comfort zone and go off the reservation sometimes and make plays, no matter what.
And EM, humbly, I know Tua has been in MVP conversations, but I've always had my reservations of trying to catapult him in that conversation because I know there's still so much room for him to grow as a quarterback as far as maturing into those situations, right? That's why I don't necessarily try to throw him in MVP conversations yet, because I know what it actually looks like. I know what it takes to be called the MVP and to play like it on a game by game basis. Tua's not quite there yet, but he's developing into that type of quarterback, which is why I was confused as to why we're trying to treat him like that, just because the outside noise is saying, look at the stats, he's an MVP quarterback. I'm looking at the game. I'm looking at situational football. There's still certain things that need to be tweaked and refined into his game before you start speaking MVP into existence, which is why I don't do that.
I agree, and I think Tua, and again, the last box that Tua needs to check to get my endorsement as a true franchise guy, right? Again, we need those moments from him. Like this was another primetime game, and again, I'm not putting I'm not saying Tua. No one player is always 100% of the blame of why things did not go right, and no one player is the 100% the reason why things went correct, right? So I'm not blaming Tua. I'm not assigning 100% of the blame on Tua, but all Tua can control is what he can control. And you look at those two big critical mistakes in the moments, right? They were game changing. You cannot do that. You just can't do it, bro. And so again, and that is what Tua went. The final box for him to check is that when the moments are in his face, are you the best version of yourself, right, for your team? And more often than not, as an NFL player, Tua, and that's just a fact, right? And it's, again, before Tua-non and the Tua-neers get upset, right? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Before they get upset, right? I'm not saying abandon Tua. I am very satisfied with Tua's development, but there is still more development that's needed. And the biggest area of development is when your team needs you the most, when those big moments present itself, are you the best version of yourself for your team? And more often than not, unfortunately, as a QB1 of the Miami Dolphins, Tua has fallen short. That's just the reality of the situation. You just need more development there. He just needs more. Because again, reason I talked about this multiple times, learning how to win is a skill set, right? We've seen all the greats go through it. Peyton Manning had to go through it. Tom Brady had to go through it, right? Joe Montana, Troy Aikman, the Dallas Cowboys, it took years for them to get over the hump and figure out how to beat San Francisco, right? John Elway had to go through it. It is a skill set, learning how to win. And unfortunately, you've got Mike McDaniel and Tua on the same developmental cycle in terms of trying to figure out how to win. They're both on the same pace, on the same developmental cycle, and it's tough to deal with, bro. It's tough. They're gonna have to figure out a way they're gonna have to figure out a way as a tandem to get through this. I believe that they will, but this is just a reality as we're having a conversation here tonight. We'll see what Sunday brings.
I gotta just shout out Jason Myers says I've been watching Jordan Love, not even huddling and working line of scrimmage, bro. I told
Jordan Love looked spectacular. Yeah.
Who did I want, EM, if Tua wasn't available? Who was my guy? Because we knew Burrow would be gone.
It was Jordan Love. Jordan Love.
How good is he? They're in a playoff spot right now, too, Green Bay.
Yes, they are. If they win, they're in. If they win next week, they're in. And you know, not to deviate from the Dolphins too much, but this Jordan Love situation is actually something that needs to be spoken about.
But the problem is, dog, you know what the problem is? we would have needed McDaniel and his staff in place from day one.
for that to work.
We didn't have the coaching staff that would have been patient with Jordan Love. They had the luxury of Aaron Rodgers and him developing behind them, right?
That's exactly what I was going to elaborate on, because Jordan Love sitting behind Aaron Rodgers the same way Aaron Rodgers had to sit behind Brett Favre. It pays dividends when you do not rush a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, onto the field when he's not quite ready. Yeah. Jordan Love was prepared for this season. He was prepared for the moment to step in. And trust me, from week one all the way up until now, he's not only shown flashes. I mean, I'm looking at certain throws this guy's making during these games with all young wide receivers, year one and second year wide receivers. This man looks the part. He looks like the guy. They're not missing Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay right now. And that's not to say Aaron Rodgers is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm just saying it pays dividends to sit a 21-year-old for 3 years and allow him to step into that role as a 24-year-old that knows every ounce of what this organization needs out of their QB1. And that's the best way to develop quarterbacks in my opinion. Right?
He looks really good. It looks like he's definitely trending in that direction. I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing from Jordan.
He's been impressive.
Talent.
He's been impressive.
He's been very impressive. So that class as a whole is shaping up to be a historic one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
you guys got anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Oh man, no, not really. Reason. It's just extremely. It's tough. My message to, our fan base, bro. Let's, it's going to take a while for us to really digest this one. And, but, the team, I think it's just extremely important that the team, they get over this relatively quickly because, there's if we felt like, all the marbles were at stake this week, today, well, multiply that by 10. That's what's coming next week. You know what I'm saying? That's what's coming next week, next Sunday.
Oh my God,
again,
that's so funny.
If there was ever a time to obliterate narratives, to really try to rewrite history, rewrite your story on the fly, Sunday is the game to do it. They already flexed the game to the primetime game.
Night football.
So everybody, they mama, they grandmama, and they dog will be watching Sunday night. And again, I understand the impact that the loss of Bradley Chubb is going to bring, and not just him, but the other players that are gone for the year that are not coming back. That's tough to take, but this is the NFL, gentlemen. This is the NFL. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody's gonna feel sorry for us, and nor should they. Right? Everybody has to deal with this to some degree.
You know what I keep hearing if we win? Dolphins after dark. Dolphins.
So at the end of the day, man, I still like our chances. We all know we're a completely different team at home than we are on the road, and I'm trying to keep positive. I do think Mike McDaniel is going to be able to galvanize and get everybody refocused and get them on the same page. And I think, and it's not any. I don't have my Homer hat on right now. I do still. I truly believe that we will win on Sunday. We will secure the division, and we'll see where the chips fall once we get to the postseason. But the heat is on, gentlemen. The heat. Not only on Tua.
We're not talking about an Eddie Murphy movie, all right?
No. Not only with Tua, but Mike McDaniel. And after this game today, Vic Fangio too. That seat needs to be a little warm. That heat needs to be turned. That temperature needs to be turned up on his behind too as well, bro. So, hey, I can't wait. Fuck it. Bring it on, bro. Pardon my language reason, but fuck it. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, EM. And trust me, Mike McDaniel is a genius. Let's just throw that out there. He is. And he has a unique way of communicating with his players. We see it on Hard Knocks. However way he has to word it. And my message would be from Mike McDaniel to Darrell Bevell and it needs to be sat down on Tua's desk one way or another throughout this week. You have 20 quarters to be at your best for you to be a Super Bowl champion. That's what this boils down to. You have 20 quarters to be at your best to become a Super Bowl champion. You perform at your best these next 20 quarters, you are guaranteed everything else for the rest of your life. And Tua, if Tua can encompass that gravity, and he can manage it the right way, and just understand all he needs to do is execute how he's been taught to do for the last 2 years, he has everything in his hand right here, right now. And I'm telling you, bro, if that message gets seared into the mind and heart, I think it happens, bro. 20 quarters, bro. 20 quarters in your Super Bowl champions, bro.
Bro, it is Monday. It is the new year. I'm not even waiting to the preview show. I'm calling it right now. Dolphins, 23. Bills, 21. Jason Sanders field goal. Take us to the promised land.
CLS the number 2 seed.
I'm calling it right now. 23-21. We're down 21-20. Jason Sanders field goal takes us to the promised land.
Let's go, man.
And we're finally, we're finally going to get our revenge on Daryl Dawkins for throwing our jerseys down.
We ain't forget.
Listen,
God, I hope so. God, I hope so.
It's gonna be big.
Bro,
it's gonna be big.
Listen.
I think 28-24 Miami.
I'm not even guessing.
They gonna give up. Win. They'll give up 24. Eli Apple was on the other. Until they find another solution, opposite Jalen Ramsey. Listen, this defense, they're gonna give up plays, bro. They're gonna give up plays, and but I do think they'll at home. You know what I mean? I think
we haven't lost 2 in a row yet this season. We're at home where we have one of the best. Us and the Chiefs have the best record over the last 3 years. We're good, man.
So real quick though, before we get out of here, who do you think? I know depth in terms of depth chart wise. I'm aware of who's available. What direction do you think Fangio? What do you think will be the strategy in terms of who would be the player that gets the majority of Bradley Chubb snaps? You think?
ABG.
Well, you got to find somebody opposite him.
No, but ABG is no longer going to be a rotational player. He is he's going to be going up to it's going to be
edge one.
It's going to exactly. It's going to be Ogba's edge 2 by default, and then I think they're going to Melvin Ingram. They're going to go get.
Yes.
I think they're going to go bring back JPP, and the rotation will be Melvin Ingram and JPP behind. You might even see. Do we see Cam Good? Because they seem to like Cam Good a little bit. I don't know.
Hey, I know it's a small sample size, but he's been getting some pressures, bro.
He's been decent.
He's been all right.
Just go get JPP, and go get Sue. You can flex Sue around, right? Just go get him. Just go get him. He's probably really healthy right now. Only need him for 4 games. 5 games, sorry, I apologize. Really don't even need him for Buffalo. Let him get his feet wet, right? Give him we need you for round 1 of the playoffs.
Man, Emmanuel Ogba.
They got me to activate him today, bro.
Oh man. The fan base, not Dolphin fan, but the fan base has written you off a long time ago. Now is the time to make them look like the biggest fucking idiots under the sun. Now is your opportunity. So let's get it done. Let's get it done.
Well, let's not. I mean, he's made plays, right, when he's had the chance.
So for sure.
It's not like he's been, we're depending on, a dart throw, right?
Right.
You look at the pressures right now. I think Ogba, Ogba has 17 pressures on 117 pass rush attempts.
That's crazy.
He has 8 run stops on only 8 run defenses. So on 10% of his run defenses, he's getting a run stop. Right? And what does he have? He has I think he has let me look here for a sec. Right now he is sitting at, in terms of sacks, because it's a small.
I think he's at 5.5, I believe. Reason.
He's at 5.
5.
He's at 5, yeah. He's at 5. PFF has him a 6 because they don't count halves, and they've given him obviously 2 more halves or whatever. But he's at 5, like on ESPN. But then with his pressures, he's basically, PFF has him with 6 sacks, 2 hits, 9 hurries, 1 batted pass. So, I mean, relative to the amount of pass snaps, only 117, and you got 17. That's better than 10%. So, and plus he had a couple of balls batted down. He has a forced fumble too, right?
I mean, Ogba could still get after the quarterback, bro.
And he has a pick. Don't he have a pick? Didn't he?
Yeah, he's got an interception too. He can still get after the quarterback. It's just a tough situation. The scheme is not ideal for his skill set.
Hey, bud, you were a healthy scratch. Got a lead on you though. Sorry,
I know, right? That's crazy.
Especially the fact he tweeted out an hour before.
The
lineup came out and clearly wasn't. Yeah, he was. He was waived. I'm saying bring him back.
I think if Ogba is a true pro, he would use that as motivation to say, all right, look at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if he's a true pro about it,
forget
about what happened. Let's go get it.
Because he's also playing for his next payday.
And he's already got his bag, bro. I mean, you've been sitting on the bench collecting, bro.
But he's got to pay for it. He needs to go get a new bag this offseason. So he has to play well, right? No matter what.
No, now's the time for him to step up and earn that some of that, a good portion of that $17 million that you've been collecting on that bench. No, it's time, Ogba. It's time. So
G-Firm says, as a fan, I'm not leaving the table till the last card is played. Fins up. And it's also time for Fangio to earn being the highest paid defensive coordinator in crunch time. It's also time for Tyreek Hill to earn that $30 million a year tag when he's thrown touchdown passes. It's time for Tua to step up and show us why he was in MVP discussion and why he deserves a $40+ million a year contract. Hell, it's time for Raheem Mostert to step up and to make us all look actually foolish for wanting Jonathan Taylor, because it seemed like people were taking their victory laps a little too early on that, because our biggest game in the last 20 years in December, what happened with Mostert? Couldn't depend on him. He wasn't out there. So listen, guys, I'm going to be back tomorrow with a recap show. Look out for me on New Year's Day. And listen, I know it's hard. You have to do what Eli did. Wipe the slate clean, on to the next one. Because, listen, the Bills, they're staring us down off a 4-game winning streak. We got a TCB take care of business. Number 2 seed and the AFC Championship, AFC East Championship is on the line here. So we got to get it this weekend. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Smash the like button on the way out. Appreciate
Happy New Year, everybody. Salute. Y'all be safe out there.
Happy New Year.
Appreciate Martin.
Till next time.
We'll see y'all next one, gentlemen. Fins up.
Peace.